All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Connect and Chill. Whether you're tuning in live or catching the recording later, your presence is truly appreciated. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Elle. I am your host for this weekly space where everyone is welcome to join the conversation, share opinions, and ask questions. I do want to remind you that this is a safe space and mental health is highly respected here. So please be mindful of what you say and how you say it. Today's topic is a bit different. We're diving into basketball from different perspectives, including what it means to be the GOAT. And I've lined up some really incredible co hosts and speakers, and I can't wait for you to hear their insights. This topic kind of just came up last week organically. I don't know if a few of you might have been there, but that's always the best discussion when it just comes up on its own. So before we dive in, don't forget, like, repost, comment below, bring in more people into the conversation. We usually have a slow start and the room starts to fill up. So we'll give it a couple minutes on that. And while we're waiting, why don't you take a moment to stretch, get comfy, grab your drink, whether it's coffee, water, tea, whatever that might be, and let's start the discussion. I see one of my co-hosts are here. Shorty, how's it going?
Hello, hello, Elle. Hello, everyone in the listening lounge. Nest, Hot. His name is cut off. Mayor, Idri, Margie. Hello. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening. Wherever you're tuning in from. It's going well. It might get a little loud. Having some work done. Not sure when they're going to show up. Maybe they like to sleep in on Saturday. I assume they would already be here so I can have my position in my place, set up. But they're not here yet, so I might get interrupted later. But yeah, day's going good so far. Just excited to get into this discussion. Been preparing all week, waiting for my other rival co-host so that we can go back and forth about this topic. But yeah, doing good.
That's awesome. And if anyone else is really excited and into basketball, you're more than welcome to join the conversation or drop a comment on your thoughts. I see Shorty already posed a question. Who is in your top five? If you have an opinion, I'm more than love to hear it. And Creative is really a huge basketball buff as well. The two of them are. So when he gets here, I'm sure it'll get really lively and the conversation will be pumping a little more.
Yeah, you know what? I was back channeling him and I was like, hey, how do you want to do this? And at first I was like, let's do our top 10, right? But then when I was going through and I was writing down all the names and, their contributions and this and that and their stats, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be nuts if we do top 10. So I was like, nah, maybe we should cut it out to top five and then some honorable mentions. So I'm waiting for him to get here so I can let him know that's what we're doing. Um, but yeah, he was really excited to do this, and I'm excited to see or to listen and hear what everyone else top five or who they think is the greatest of all time as far as basketball. But I didn't know how we were going to categorize or determine who's top five, who qualifies to be the GOAT, whether it's going to be um just their points or their stats in the paint or off court too. So I think it's only fair that we just do the in the paint stuff because, off court has to do with the person themselves. And I don't know that we want to put this in there because it's about basketball. But basketball does, incorporate their whole person. But, so we'll see how it goes. Hello, Miss Peg. Love to see you here. What you got for us?
Hi, Shorty. Hi, Elle. I say, and this is like you talk about, it is a real goat, okay, and an oldie, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and also known as Lou Alcindor, and he's actually from my block here. He's from 226th Street in the Bronx, and I didn't live here at the time. My parents' first apartment was here, and then we ended up coming back. I met my husband, and we bought his parents' house here on the block. So my apartment, my first apartment, was down as a baby, is down the block there, and there's a church across the street which they put up the wall in the 1960s. And so he would, according to my husband, first of all, he played in the schoolyard on the down at the end in the public school, and everybody would watch him play there. But he would practice going back and forth. There's like a high wall, and my husband said he would, you know, um, go down the entire block, like dribbling or hitting the ball off the high wall there. So yeah, he was amazing. Okay, those early Knicks. all the early, like those guys that played for oh, I can't think. I'm getting the song "Sweet Georgia Brown." The ones who do all the tricks, they were freaking fantastic. Okay, back then, like the original crew, the Harlem Globetrotters. But I could have, they were really cool. But I love the Liberty, and I've gone to a bunch of Liberty games, and it was pretty. I worked for a basketball centric. Uh, it's a program that that has girls and boys, female basketball coach. She was on uh Good Morning America. They gifted her a Tim Tebow gifted her a van for the kids and all this stuff, and she's in Mount Vernon, New York. So I work for her, teaching dance classes. I did, until, like, until it was teaching. And we would take the girls to the Liberty, and as it happened, uh, the women's basketball, they lost their contract at Madison Square Garden. They didn't have enough interest. This would be pre-pandemic, so they moved to way out in Brooklyn. I mean, like, it's really, it's like another state, and they uh, so they were going to have to get like a whole new fan base and everything. People were used to them at Madison Square Garden, and there was like the whole, New York City, Manhattan vibe and everything. And then they're going to go like at the edges of Brooklyn over there. But in the meantime, while they were getting the place ready, they were at a small venue in Westchester County, New York, in White Plains at the county center. So they were playing all their games there, and we got to take the kids a lot then, because that's Westchester, and we got a lot of access. So, but at the same time, okay, I was supposed to be one of the dancers for the Liberty. Okay, they have a dance team which is all over 40. Okay, like, professional dancers over 40, and the uh, I went, okay, they invited me, they invited me to the game, gave me food there and everything, were really nice. I just came across pictures of it the other day, okay, because I was I was dancing with my friends, and it just happened that I was on the Jumbotron, and they kept me on there for a long time. And then later, when I was with some of the Liberty dancers that I knew, they said to me, "Oh, you were really good tonight." Okay, so they thought I was part of the team. It was great. And but when they moved to Brooklyn, I mean, first of all, dancers are terrible. They always tell you, "Oh, it's the prestige. Get out of here." Okay, you're over 40 to begin with. You had a full career already as a professional dancer, as you made it in New York City. Um, and but that's too far from my house. I live in, like I'm telling you, where Westchester County is New York State. Okay, and I live in the top of the Bronx, where New York State begins. And so to go all the way out there to Brooklyn, that wasn't gonna work. So that's that. Anyway, that's old stuff. Hey, I can't dance at all. Okay, after having radiation in my pelvis, I have little fractures. That's out. So that's not my life anymore. But I do love basketball. I love, like I said, the Liberty, and definitely going with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I think you can still dance. You can just, slow wind it,
Oh,
move those hips.
I
You can
do.
dance.
I do. I'm just talking about, the pro stuff in 3-inch heels with floor falls and all this kind of stuff, Broadway stuff. I'm not even the regular stuff. I can't even train, like, ballet or anything like that. But like, you're right, man. I'm not going to stop shaking it.
I, I know that's right, Miss Peg. So you're a little biased when it comes to Kareem because he's born in your neighborhood. He grew up in your neighborhood. But did you ever watch basketball or just Kareem because he was in the neighborhood?
No, no, I watched basketball. My husband's a Knicks fan, and when we were young, my husband liked every sport, and my husband played basketball. That was his sport, and so my husband's a professional musician. He's a child prodigy, on the guitar, and came up through like the whole rock and all, but here in New York, like, he was a session player for the Ed Sullivan Theater and all these kinds of things. So everybody always played basketball after, and the courts were open at night and everything. And so we would go to White Castle at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and the guys would play basketball. So That was our life. And yeah, so but no, my husband, was really into the Knicks, and still is. He's still, what you call it, a New York fan, of everything. Yankees, of course, here and he's a Giants fan, not a Jets fan. Um, but yep, definitely the Knicks. I couldn't tell you who any of the players are. Okay, like I said, I'm more into the Liberty these days, and have been for the past 5 years. Like I said, we took took the girls there a bunch of actually the boys too. There's boys in this organization. It's called New Flex. It's really a great program, and the kids are extremely inner city, and they get exposed to a lot of great things, so that including, okay, the coach, see, I want to definitely get over there and talk to them about crypto, but they have for years a person who comes in, and the coach gives money to the kids, and they trade stocks. Okay, they learn how to trade stocks, and with the money that they're given there. And it's not a lot, and these are small stocks, obviously, but they learn all kinds of great skills. And we take there's a pageant like 3 times a year, twice a year. I mean, I was thinking about another place. And the girls go through the pageant, and the boys, also learn manners and accompany them and everything. And so it's great. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, more about the females lately for myself.
Love it, love it, love it. I want to welcome Creative, my other co-host, where we're going to be chopping it up of our top five goats of the NBA. We're going to tell why. But you know what, Creative? So happy to see you here. Actually, let's let you give your introduction and say hi to the people before we get into what we're basing this top five on. So, Creative, how are you this morning?
Yo, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. L. I do apologize for the lateness. You know, what I mean, I'm on that CPT time now. I had some daddy duties. My little one had a little accident this morning, so I had to take care of that. But good morning, morning, everybody. I love this topic, man. I'm excited to talk hoops all day, every day. That's what I do. I'm Creative Madness. I'm in the West Coast. You know, I've been working in cyber analytics for the last 10 years. I do AI art. I dip and dabble in a lot of different arenas, a lot of different lanes. But Spaces host now, I guess you could put that on the tab. Girl dad, veteran. We could go down the list. But I'm just excited, man, to sit with my sisters. Elle and OAJ, and my brothers down there, Ness and Benjamin, man, and get this topic going, man. I'm excited.
That's awesome, Creative. I'm so glad you made it. No problem that you were late. Girl dad duties always come first. And I know it's early for you and Ben on the West Coast. I always appreciate that you guys are here. It's even a little early in the swamp, right, for OAJ. So it's good everyone made it.
It is not early for me in the swamp.
She's down there in that bayou.
Yeah, it's the bayou. But no, you didn't pull out the CP time. It's cracking up. You're funny. Yeah, I'm in the bayou. You know what's funny? I was out in the back, a little off topic. And I was talking to the guy who's gonna cut my grass, and I was like, "Yo, what the heck are all these holes? Like they look like little clay holes." And I'm like, "What are all these clay holes? I've never seen it before." And he's like, "Yeah, those are crawfish holes." I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So they might come up. I might have to. No, I can't. I can. You know what's funny is I can eat them, but I can't kill them and cook them. It's just I can't do it. I just can't do it. Let somebody else, do that part. I can't do it myself. So funny though.
Man, you
But
gotta get down there and get them mud bugs. You know what I mean? You gotta get them mud bugs.
no, I can't. You know what? If I catch one of them, they're going to be in a tank and they're going to be my pet. I'm not going to be. I can't kill it. I can't do it. I'll have another pet.
All right, if you put
But
it in the tank, just call it Sebastian. All right.
you know what? That's actually perfect.
Do the chickens eat them, or do they eat the chickens?
No, I mean, they're getting big, but I had little bitty chicks, baby chicks, so they're not even big yet, but I don't think they
That's
would
what I
eat them.
mean. Okay, that's what
They might like chase them or something, maybe. But they're so small right now. I mean, they're bigger since I got them, but I sit out there with them because we have hawks and we have owls, and if I leave those little tiny things out there, they'll be somebody's meal. So I can't leave them until they're bigger. So I sit out there and I sit with them. And then when it's too hot or I want to do something else or I have some work to do, I put them back in the cage and then I come in. But yeah, I hang out with them. They're funny. They try to. You guys know what beauty marks are. I guess I call them beauty marks. You know, the little round brown dots that a lot of us have. And when they raise, then they call them what do you call those things? I never call them that on me, but what are they called when they raise up? Um, Moles.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So when they raise up, they call them moles. But these little chicks, they peck at them. So I'm like, wait a minute, guys, stop. I'm not food. Cut it out. I don't know whether they think they're bugs on me or something, but their beaks are getting sharp. So now it actually hurts. Before they were these little tiny itty bitty things and it didn't bother me. I'm like, guys, stop. I'm not food. But now they're getting bigger and their beaks are sharper and their claws are sharper. And so they're pecking at them still. And I'm like, guys, stop. Like, ow, get off me. But yeah, no, it's fun. Fun having the little chickadees. But let's get into it. Creative, my guy. We're gonna be talking about b-ball, right? I haven't watched this in years, but I do have a history of watching my team. Do we want to say what my team was for the longest time? Not right now. Maybe I'll reveal that a little later. But what we're gonna do is no laughing. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go over creative, if you don't mind the format. You'll do one, I'll do one. We're going to go over our top five. I'm not doing it in any particular order, but I think we're going to be basing it off I think we're going to just do in the paint, right? Because I don't think it's fair to do off the paint because we're really talking about basketball. We're not talking about the individual person. I feel like that's a whole different category. Like, basketball players as a person, that's a different, topic. We're talking about the GOAT in the sport. So what do you think about that, Creative?
Nah, that sounds good. We could just talk about what they do on the court within the four lines, you know what I mean, and then go from there.
All right, so I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna pass the ball to you to start off with one of your top five.
All right. Basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down. Oh, never mind. Bill Russell. I would do Bill Russell. Due to the fact that he got 11 championships. He was a player. He was the first player coach. He played for the Boston Celtics. During a time where it was rough, but he won 11 championships. He was undersized. Considered today undersized at his position if he was to play in today's game, but was had to battle Wilt Chamberlain and won a lot of those battles. He did a lot to move the sport and progress the sport. Between those lines. So, just off of championships, man, you have to put him up in the top five. He got 11. So, all right, OAJ, who you got next?
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of yours because Bill Russell was one of my top five. So not only did my boy win 11 championship rings, right? He is unmatched, winning 8 straight. Right? Still, nobody has broken that record, winning 8 straight. Am I right?
You right about it. You right about it.
Oh no, that's right. So yeah, Bill Russell, he is one of the goats, and I don't think like a true basketball connoisseur. I don't think that there's any conversation where he's not in as the goat. He's not considered one of the goats. Even back then, when Bill Russell was playing, there were some things that they weren't even counting, right? Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you a question though. So I'm gonna test your knowledge a little bit, right?
Oh boy.
So where where's Bill Russell from?
Where is Bill Russell from? Well, he's from here. What do you mean? Like where was he born? He was
No.
born
Okay.
in
So where? I'll ask you an easier question. What college did he go to?
what college did he go to? Okay, so he was born in LA. I don't know what college he went to. What college did he go to?
He went to USF. So he went to
Oh, okay.
San Francisco. He played high school in Oakland. So he's a West Coast dude. You know what I mean? Everybody, a lot of people think he's from maybe New York or things like that because he played at
No,
Boston.
he's born in LA.
He's West Coast all day. All right.
Okay.
So who's next on the list since you piggybacked off of me? I ain't gonna let you
I
get away with that.
had to because he was one of my people. All
I
right,
ain't
so
gonna
you know
let you
what?
get away with that.
We're gonna we're gonna go back. Okay, so we're gonna go to Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Okay. Hit me with it. Hit me with Will
He
Chamberlain. Who is it?
was 76ers, right? He was definitely one of the GOATs. When you're talking about the GOATs, you have to put Wilt in the conversation. You can't not have Wilt in the conversation because this man broke so many freaking records in his career. They just started calling him the record book, right? This man, y'all all know, I don't even know if y'all know what a triple double is or a quadruple double is, but when they were back then they weren't counting certain things, right? He he probably would have had what would you call it for like five, like a quintuple double. Like, that's like a a tongue twister for me. He would have had a quintuple double, but the league didn't record blocks and steals at that time, so he probably would have been the only one in that category to have 10 points in each one of those categories. But they weren't counting certain things back then. But yeah, Wilt Chamberlain was a beast. And who did he have to play up against actually? On his team, he had I don't think any all-stars, right?
Depends on who he played for, because he played for the Lakers, so he played with Jerry West, played with Elgin Baylor. He played with those guys, so he did have some. When he got to LA, he had some players. When he was in Philadelphia, it was pretty much just him. But um, like I said, when he got to LA and he was wearing that good old purple and gold, that good old purple and gold that's hurting my heart right now. Um, he was doing some things, and he did have a lot of good players, but he still struggled to beat Boston. And so that's one of the things that they kind of knock on him. But Will Chamberlain, when he came into the league, he was considered a phenom just off of the simple fact nobody's ever seen a player at that size with that athleticism. At that time, you used to be able to throw it off the backboard during a free throw and go get it yourself and do all kind of crazy stuff. Like, they set the free throw rules differently because of him,
Hmm.
where you couldn't cross that line until after the ball hit the rim, just because Will Chamberlain was so big and so dominant. So he was one of the players that they had to actually change the NBA rules for, because he could do certain things, and he was a super athlete, and they've never seen a player like that in the league until him. Kind of like Shaq. When Shaq came into the league, they never seen a player like him, so they had to change rules.
I know,
Like,
right?
or like when Jordan came into the league, there were certain things that had to change rules because these people like LeBron James, things like that, they never seen these kind of players. So Wilt was kind of like the forefather of super like athlete proteges.
Right. He stood. He's a big boy. He stood like like Dirk Nowitzki height, like 7'1". He was a big boy. So yeah, he was dominant in every position he played. He didn't just play one. Because like all right, we can say MJ was a dynamic player, but he only played one way, right? Wilt had that diversity, and he was a beast in everything. Like you said, they had to change rules because of him. So yeah, that's one of my other ones. So far we have um Wilt, and we have Bill Russell. Who's yours?
So one more thing, we got it. We can't stop talking about Wilt until we talk about how this man scored 100 points in the game. So he has the most points in a single game when he scored 100 points. Um,
Right, but who was he playing at? What team was he playing against then?
Oh, so he was playing with the Philadelphia Warriors before they came out to Golden State in California, and they were playing the New York Knicks. This was back in 1962, March 1962. Nobody has like, there's no recordings of this, there's no video or nothing like that. They only have the picture of him holding up the paper where it has 100 points written, 100 written on it, and he's sitting there smiling. So but it was a first time and the last time in sports history where a player in the professional sport of basketball, where a player scored 100. Kobe came second,
Close,
close.
came close.
He was
81.
81,
81. Mm-hmm.
81, and to me, I'm just gonna put this out here, and we can talk about this another time. I think the 81 was harder to get than the 100 that Wilt got, but that's just my opinion.
I'm
Um,
not going to say no to that.
so
I'm not going to say no.
because of how the sport is being played and how that all the athletes are gotten their skills are better, things of that nature, and how he did it was a lot harder. I always say Will Chamberlain was playing against midgets. Kind of how I felt like when I played in a tournament in Maui and we was playing. Their center was like 5'5", you know what I mean, and my point guard was 5'10". So, but hey, look, that's just me. But Wilt was a phenom, so I got to give him some love and
Absolutely.
some credit.
Absolutely. You know what that reminds me of when you're saying he's playing against midgets? Now Steve Nash, he wasn't a midget, but when I would watch him play, I'm like, why is he so tiny? But it's not that he was tiny. He stood 6'3", right? But up against everybody else, he looked so tiny, especially up against Dirk and when he would play. They were a dynamic tag team duo when they were on the Mavs together, right? It was tough to get around them, right? But but when Dirk would just because Dirk he was a really good player. Not Dirk, Nash. Nash was a really good player. He really was. He would get in. I was like, that's because he's little as fuck. But oh my bad, I didn't mean to curse. He looked little, but he really wasn't little. But it was just how he moved, his athleticism. He was quick to get on the inside and get that layup. But yeah, that's what popped in my head when you say he played against midgets. He literally Nash looked 5'5" to me when he was playing, but he was just really good at moving the ball.
So we got Bill, we got Wilt. Who else we got?
Hey, it's you next. I got Wilt. You up?
Okay, MJ. I mean, you
Oh,
could talk about MJ and his attitude and stuff and how you might not like that part of him, but I tell people this, right? You kind of have to be an asshole to be great. When it comes to sports, I don't know about other fields or like like other like white collar fields and things like that, but when it comes to sports, you kind of got to be arrogant. You got to be egotistical. You have to be these things to be great. You have to think that you're the greatest person walking on God's green earth to be successful, or else you'll get eaten alive in sports. So, there are things. Some people, and then there's some athletes that, you know, they're that way on the court, and then off the court, they don't know how to turn it off. That competitiveness. MJ was one of those people. He was always on go time when it comes to competing and being the greatest. So you have to put him in there one because think about this. This man, one he had 2 3 peats. He went away from the game, played baseball, got his butt kicked, came back to basketball, everybody's butt for getting his butt kicked in baseball. I mean, he wanted. Listen, at that time, think about it, he inspired a movement with his sneakers, um, with his shoes and stuff. You weren't able to wear certain color shoes at that time. He was able to wear 'em, black shoes and stuff like that. Then the shorts, the baggy shorts. Nobody's wearing baggy shorts until Michael Jordan. Um, Michael Jordan inspired people to be bald headed and be happy about it. Before then, people was mad that they were losing their hair. So, he inspired, made you think a human being can fly. I want to be like Mike, all this stuff. There's still things that Michael Jordan, just his brand on the court, is such a big influence where even the jerseys now, and they thought that he should be the next logo and things of that nature. I mean, just how the other players, if you ever listen to interviews of how they talk about Michael Jordan, they call him Black Jesus. They call him the Black Cat. They actually had fear of this guy. Like, oh man, I gotta play this dude. So here's a quick story, and then I'm gonna give it to Miss Peg. But when Michael Jordan used to play certain players, the story is that he would sit and on the court, and as he's playing you, and as you're guarding him, he would sing Anita Baker to you, and he would sing the song "Giving You the Best That I Got." Like, how messed up in the head would that mess you up while you're guarding one of these superstar athletes and he's singing Anita Baker to you? He's not singing like, he's not rapping to you. He's not hitting you with Tupac or like Biggie Smalls. He's serenading your ass and kicking your ass at the same time. Like, yo, that will blow. That will make me so upset. Like, I don't care. Like, just from a pride perspective, you gonna sing Anita Baker to me as a man? Like, that's cool. Go ahead, Miss Peg. What's going on?
This is not financial advice, but if you have any MJ stuff, okay. My friend is in the film industry. They're making a movie about him. So I had something and I was going to sell it. And she said, no, hold that. It's going to be worth 10 times. Okay. When that movie comes out. So there you go. All right. But like I said, not financial advice. If you, and, uh, yes, he's absolutely incredible. Like you said, creative. He has all these really cultural milestones and everything, and led the way with so many things like that. I think he's really, like culturally, uh, one of the one of the tops like that. And cultural influences. And hey, you guys remember from the morning space, the Genius Room? Hoops. Okay, Hoops OG. It doesn't seem like he's around. I tagged him to see if he wanted to come in because he's a very interesting guy. I mean, he played internationally still. Okay, but
That's
and
absolutely, Miss Peg. I was hoping that he was in here, actually.
I tagged him, but I see he's not around for a few days. So hope he's enjoying himself.
I'm gonna back channel him, see how he's doing. But yeah, he would have been one of the people to come in here and speak about hoops. So Jordan, creative, absolutely. I mirror everything you said about MJ. He was a dynamic individual. He had people fearing him. The singing Anita Baker, giving you the best that I got. That was straight psych 101. And that is hilarious. But I think we see because MJ was such a dynamic scorer, right? That I think that overshadowed his ability to defend. Like he was a tenacious defender, right? But his scoring was so well that overshadowed it, right? And he was a defender on and off the ball, right? So the blindside block, the defensive plays, and that triggered fast breaks and traditional breaks. But like Mike was a whole freaking movement, y'all. Like even when he returned that, I'm back. It's like that like put people, their hairs, I made their hair stick up on the back of their neck, like, oh damn, I gotta defend this guy again. Or like, damn, like his spin moves, his dunk, his glides, his layups, his jumpers. This man, I think his style of play is that like Kobe. The huge difference between Kobe and Jordan to me, um, Kobe was more humble than Jordan, right? And Kobe would use his team more. He would utilize his team. He would absolutely pass the ball to his teammates. Whereas Jordan, he just hogged the ball. He was just like, give me the ball, I'm shooting it. That was it. But he improvised moves all the time. Moves and plays that nobody has seen before. He was such a freaking dynamic player. Him and Kobe were dynamic players. Um, he was I don't know, he was obviously he's one of my goats too. And the reason why MJ is in every freaking conversation, there's people who say he's the goat, he's the greatest of all time, hands down. But the reason why MJ is in the conversation is because MJ dominated the freaking league in the first place. There is no conversation that MJ cannot be in. He freaking let's take Malone for example, right? Malone was a power forward, right? If MJ never existed in the game, Malone would have had 3 league MVPs instead of 2. He would have had 5 scoring titles instead of 0. He would have had 2 shit championships instead of 0. And Malone would have rivaled, just as an example, he would have rivaled Tim Duncan as the greatest power forward if MJ was not in the league at all. That's the effect. All of this together, what Peg said, what freaking Creative said, this is why, MJ is in every freaking conversation. This is arguably why MJ could be referred to as the GOAT, and people really won't have too many rumblings about it because he was such a dynamic player. Like he changed everything. He started shit. He made trends. He made, like Creative said, he made people proud to be bald headed. We had like who else was bald headed in the league that was just like him, Kobe. Even if we go to Grant, remember Grant? He was such a nice dude though. I remember Grant Hill, he did have hair when he started and he had them by the end of his career, but I remember Grant Hill too. He was a little baldy. Ray Allen was bald. He was the 3 point he was the 3 point record holder um until freaking oh my gosh, my guy. What's his name? Um What is his name? I can't believe I don't. Curry. Love Curry. He was holding the title for 3 points until Curry came along. And he broke his actually he was actually in the he was in Ray Allen was in because I watched that game when Curry broke his record. He was actually in the audience when so that's just like and he was supportive, Ray Allen's like, yeah, he was supporting him. Steve Miller was there. Not Steve, oh my gosh, Reggie Miller was there too. Yeah, I watched the game. But yeah, so you picked MJ, right? So,
So before we go off for MJ, I
okay.
got hit you with a question. So
Oh, here we are with the questions.
what jersey numbers did Michael Jordan wear in the NBA? What jersey
Okay. Well,
numbers? No, it's
hold
not
on.
just one.
Oh,
What jersey
MJ.
numbers?
Okay.
You better, hey, don't you
No,
Google.
no, no, because he was 23, but when he came back, he was 45 or
Okay, okay. Well,
something.
he wore three different numbers in the NBA.
Okay, hold on. So 23, 45, and then I want to say three. That's what's popping in my head.
So 23, 45, and he wore 12. He wore
12.
12.
All
He
right.
wore 12 one
Why did I
game, I
say
think,
three?
because somebody stole his jersey out of his locker. Somebody broke into the locker and stole his jersey, so he had to wear the reserve jerseys that they had. Because nowadays they have reserve jerseys where it's all the players' numbers, but back then they just had random numbers.
Random numbers, yeah.
Yeah, so he had to wear the little backup jersey, and he wore 12.
Okay, so I missed the 12. For some reason, I don't know who, somebody was wearing three. I don't know who that was, but whatever. 23, 45, 12. Okay, I won't forget that now. Since you put me on the spiggity ot. Thanks for that one. um, so now we're gonna easily segue into his partner, his rival. We're gonna segue into Kobe, right? How can we not have Kobe in this conversation? Now, there are so many other people who can be in the conversation when we're talking about GOATs, in basketball. But for my top five, it had to be Kobe. It had to be Kobe. Um, while being the first team all defense, which is something that only one other player in the league holds. And who is that? Who is that creative? Who is it?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
While being the first team all defense.
Uh-huh.
Who's the only one who only holds that too?
The first team all defense. There's multiple players that have first team all defense. Because first team all defense is like so. First team all defense, how it works. Every year they pick first team, second team, third team, all defensive players, right? So so first team all defense, yeah, they pick a couple different people. Now defensive player of the year, they only pick one player per season. So when it comes to first team player all defense team, yeah, there's multiple players throughout the league history that's been on that. So what are you shooting for? I guess is the question.
Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up,
Come on, OAJ. Come on,
hold
OAJ.
up. Because he
Hey
has
man,
five.
say man.
Hey man, say man. So he has five NBA championships, right?
Right.
And his final game, which was against
Utah Jazz.
the Jazz. But in game seven, 2010 NBA Finals, you watched that game, right?
Yeah, he played against the Celtics.
Okay. And he was playing with an injury, right?
Yep.
And what was that injury?
It was his finger. his on his
to,
shooting hand.
on his shooting hand. And did they pull out the dub for that?
Yeah, he played like crap, but he got rebounds and stuff. Ron Artest
I
hit
was
the
gonna say
three,
that.
and that's when Ron Artest said, "Kobe, pass me the ball. Kobe, pass me the ball."
But Cole, why you say it like that? Like Artest was crying or something.
Hey, look at the clip. Look at the clip in his media thing. He said, "Kobe, pass me the ball." Hey, that's how
But
he
he,
said it.
no, he wasn't crying though. He was
Hey,
not
no, no, no,
crying.
no, no. He was joyful. Like, yo, I'm shot. Kobe,
Right.
pass me the damn ball. Like,
But
so
that's how Kobe was though. Kobe was like an elite ball handler. He was like the decision maker, right? He was like he was the person that you went to when the clock was winding down and you needed to get some points on that board. That's who Kobe was. So he was the decision maker. He was a dynamic decision maker, right? He that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between him and MJ. Kobe used his team, right? So he did pass the freaking ball to Artest, but you got it like like Artest was like crying, like they pass me the ball.
listen, I'm gonna put that clip in the damn jumbotron. Don't you play with me. I'm gonna
I
put that
didn't
clip in
think
there
it
so
was
people don't
like
know.
that. I
No,
watched that
I'm not
game. I don't
exaggerating.
think
Nah,
I think you are.
no, no. And I'm
I
gonna put it
watched
up
that
there. It's
game a
coming.
couple times. I don't think it
Hey,
was like that.
hey, just give me a couple seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up there for you.
I'm gonna need you to put that
Can
clip
I bring up
and
can I
put
bring up
that
Jokic while
clip.
you put that up?
Of course. Oh, Jokic. Okay, bring up Jokic.
So I grew up on
Giannis.
Jokic.
Jokic.
My first year that I started watching basketball was Jokic's year he got drafted, and I grew up in Denver. So I'm a Jokic stan. Who wants to ask me about Jokic?
Why don't you just let us know about Jokic?
Jokic is a decision maker like you see in Kobe.
So okay, so if we
He's
talk about
dynamic, but he's slow and dopey, you know?
if we talk about Jokic, we could talk about him, but let's get through this five real quick, and then
Dope,
we
dope,
could talk
dope,
about Jokic. I got some things about that.
dope.
Okay, and but yeah, so let's not get on Kobe real quick because I need to see this because I watched that game like 2 or 3 times and I didn't I did not see him because you're making it sound like Artest had like 20 points that freaking game. While Kobe was being the rebound champ because he had the freaking broken pointer finger, which is his shooting hand. He was the rebound king. But they did bring him in, like, and Artest was hitting him and freaking whatchamacallit, we're going 3 for 3 in that game. Who the freak was it? It was him and Rondo missed that important three, so we ain't gonna talk about Rondo. But Rondo,
So
he
so while
Rondo's
OJ is going around in
Wa-
circles, we're gonna see.
Wallace.
I put the clip up there in the jumbotron
No, I don't believe
and
you. Let me see.
about Ron Artest. So please, people, go watch it in the jumbotron for a second, and you tell me how he
First of
said.
all, no, I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna look.
Man, I come with
You doing an
receipts.
interview?
I come with receipts. So, but nah, Kobe. To me, Kobe, the downside that people have on Kobe is that he was Mike 2.0. I also put in the jumbotron a whole bunch of identical plays where you can't really tell the difference if it's MJ, if it's Kobe. They both move alike because he studied Mike so well, but just like Mike studied Dr. J so well and brought a lot of that into his game and just took it to a whole nother level. Um, Kobe didn't have the chips that Mike had, but Kobe did some other things that he did a little bit better than Mike, like shoot the three a little bit better, um, rebound a little bit better. So what people don't understand is that Kobe. What people don't understand is that Kobe didn't have all the physical attributes that Mike had, as far as big hands, as far as the vertical and things like that. But the best description of Kobe that I've ever heard was by Gilbert Arenas when he said Kobe took a Mercedes Benz and turned it into a Bugatti and gave you everything that he had. So since he had smaller hands, he worked on his grip. Since he didn't have the 48 vertical, the 48-inch vertical, he worked on how to maximize his vertical, things of that nature. So at the end of the day, when Kobe left the game, you knew he gave you every ounce of God-given talent and work ethic that he had in his body. So that's why he's my favorite player. So
I have been told recently to look at Anthony Edwards in the same frame as this Kobe and MJ athleticism talk. It's a stretch because he's young, but purely talent, athleticism. You know what I mean? Not what have you done? You know,
I
Yeah,
just
no.
got back because I was looking
So,
at that clip, so I couldn't hear everything.
like
I'll
just
But
say,
watching him move, he kind of moves like those two guys you're talking about.
I'll say this about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards has the potential to be like them
Yeah,
now because he's a dog. He go after it.
yeah,
He plays defense. He wants to bet. He wants to play defense on the best play on the best perimeter player. He also wants to take your heart out. So,
yeah,
man. So no, he's good. He got a long way to go as far as accolades and championships and things. But he
yeah. I've
has
never seen a
time.
mix of both of those skill sets. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No. You good, man. You good.
I just when I watch Anthony Edwards right after I've watched highlight videos on YouTube of Kobe and MJ, I start getting excited. And guys, I've got a touch of the tism. I'm a visionary. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
okay.
hey, I can't knock Anthony Edwards and how he approaches the game, man, because he definitely has the similar mindset, right? I hate
Exactly.
I hate that people throw around this Mamba mentality stuff because Mamba mentality is on it's like a psychotic level, but he does attack the game as far as his aggressiveness and things the same way. When you get into the Mamba mentalities and stuff like that,
Yeah,
Kobe,
it's not quite there for him like it was with Kobe, but he mixes some of Kobe's Mamba with
yeah,
some of MJ's pure physical talent, right?
no, I agree. You know, I tell people when it comes to Kobe Bryant and a Mamba mentality, that what you saw on the court. Yeah, that was Mamba mentality, and some that was the end result of Mamba mentality
Yeah, that was some
because
there.
all the work and all the stuff that he put into it. He used to have this. Karan Butler talks about it. One of his old teammates, one of Kobe's teammates. He talks about blackout practices and blackout workouts, where they would literally work out. Like when Karan Butler came from Miami to LA, when they traded Shaq, and that's when they got Karan Butler, Lamar Odom, and those guys. Kobe's first statement to Karan Butler is like, "Yo, you ready to black out?" And he was like, "What?" It's like, "Yo, meet me at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna have blackout session." And then so when he got there, they would literally work out until their eyes start to black out. And that's how much work that he put into it. There's a interview after a game. They're interviewing Kobe. It's Jim Gray, and he's like he lost a championship or whatever. So they're like, "Yo, so what you gonna do different this off season to go into next season?" And he was like, "Man, look, I'm gonna work out to exhaustion." Like a lot of players don't do that, man. A lot of players don't put their time in when you're working out to exhaustion. Kobe talks about his workout regimen, where he says, "Okay, look, most guys they get up, they practice, or they work out. They have their workout maybe like 10, 8 or 10 in the morning, then go home, hang out with their family, then they go back maybe at 3, 4, work out again, and then that's it." He said, "Me, I work out at 4, get done about 6, go home, take a nap, eat breakfast, wake up, eat breakfast, spend time with my kids. Then at like 1, I go again, work out, whatever, do my thing. 3, come back, chill, go back, work out again." And then like by the time he breaks down his workout regimen, he done worked out 4 times while everybody
He
else worked out
made
twice.
he made a 24-hour day into like 6-hour chunks.
Yeah, so he really put in that work, man, and a lot of people
That's
don't
dope.
take that serious.
Yeah. But that's what you do when you want to be the best, when you are that's when you're the greatest at something, how you get there is putting in that work like that. It's just like when you're working out, you work out to exhaustion. Sometimes like it's pushing your body to its limits, right? To what you perceive the limits are, right? Because if you work out so aggressively, you get to a certain points where you might throw up because you have pushed your body to that point, and it's not a bad thing. Um, but you're putting in that work to get to a destination. That's why he was such a dynamic failure. That's why his mind was so open. He could make those last minute decisions because of how aggressive he was in working out and exercising and practicing. That was just Mamba, and he did it best.
Well, and us as regular little degenerates, or at least me personally, like
Regular little
I
degenerate.
only work out till I black out if I don't know when to stop myself. I took too much pre-workout, right? I work out till I'm sick because I forget to stop. But if you do that on purpose, that's a whole different way of working out, you know?
It's a whole different beast. It's a whole different animal.
It's
Absolutely.
Mamba. It's Mamba. It becomes Mamba.
Mamba. Yes, yes, yes.
So
He is
here's
my
what I
favorite
see
player.
Jokic having Mamba, guys.
Say that again.
Jokic has Mamba.
Negative. I would have to disagree. I would,
Okay, so the media paints a picture that he's not interested in basketball. Go watch his pressers.
oh no, I watched his presses, but watching his presses, I can't
Watch
give you
watch
his.
the pressers. Watch the pressers of his teammates. He
I
doesn't skip out on the rookie mandatories. He
no,
goes to
that's
every rookie
cool.
mandatory. You know.
Right, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not. I definitely look. Jokic is a good player, right? Jokic is a good player. Me personally, I think he's overhyped on certain things because the NBA is looking for that great white hype. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and they're trying to push it towards a more European. They want a European face
For sure. That's so obvious.
because I'll tell you this. Like I'll give you a perfect example. If Jokic gets MVP this year, that's how I know NBA pushing the narrative because
But here's the thing: you're talking to a back-to-back. The last 2 years, I've been a season ticket holder and gone to all the Nuggets games. I've watched him live to create my narrative. You know.
no, I get you. Like I'm not saying that he's not a good player, but I look at it from this perspective, right? Like the NBA will tell you he's the top five center of all time, right? I disagree with
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
Highly disagree with that because one, the center position in today's NBA is one of the weakest positions in the NBA right now. So if I took Jokic and I put him against Shaq, or I put him against Olajuwon, or I put him against Bill Russell, or I put him against Dwight Howard in his prime. We seen what Dwight Howard did to him in the bubble and kicked his ass. And Dwight Howard was way past his prime at that point. But there's like 15 centers throughout the history of the NBA that I could put in front of him. You want to say he's the best? You want to say he's the best international center? Okay, he might be top five international center. But then you got Rick Smith, you got Sabonis, you got Vlade Divac, certain players like this. It's very, very hard to kind of judge that, right? Because Jokic, a lot of times, because I watch his games too, who's defending him is usually the power forward and not the actual center. And a lot of times he's a lot bigger than those individuals. And he doesn't really get center to center matchups, right? We see what even
Just
though the
because
Lakers are,
other teams decide to play a certain player a certain way doesn't mean he's lesser, though.
but
Just
what
because they take a center off him because the center position's weak and put a more athletic person on him doesn't take away from him, right?
but what I'm saying is this: if I was to put him up against, because we're talking the center position, if I was to put him
Yeah.
like right now, like he's okay, for example, he's playing the Lakers and Denver are playing right now, right? And yeah, the Lakers are down 3-0, right? So we're not going to talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But just matchup to matchup, Anthony Davis versus him, right? Anthony Davis
Oh,
has
it's going to be such a hard matchup against the Timberwolves when they throw an athletic person on him, and we've got to guard a center
so,
with our
but
athletic power forward.
that's my thing with him, right? Like so
He
with
is
him, if I look at
for
him
sure.
versus all the centers versus against all the centers all time, he doesn't make top five. He
He's
doesn't.
not matchup. He's not matchup proof yet, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so we got some hands up real quick. Miss Peg, since you already spoke, we're gonna go with intricate one. Go ahead, intricate.
I I
All
just
right,
have
I'm
go
gonna.
ahead.
I have to go, and I just wanted to, interject again about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's from my block, and he's still like number one or number two in a lot of the all timers. So I'm still going with him, no matter what your five, no matter what your five is. So
Hey, Miss, we appreciate you, Miss
One
Peg.
of
We
my
appreciate
thanks.
you.
favorite
And
And
have a
as an
good day.
athlete myself, I'm a professional dancer, and like my physical therapist right now, he said to me, "Boy, dancers are really underrated about the strength that I have at my age coming back." And I did all of that training myself as an athlete. You really go too hard to the point where like you're saying, you're vomiting, blacking out, stuff like that. Yes, really sick. In extremely hot rooms, it was thought like we should all train in the heat. When I was young, there were no air conditioning anywhere, even in the colleges where that taught dance and athletics, okay, stuff. Everything was really warm in these places, and so yeah, your body was pushed to the limits there. And if you could do it in basically, that's what they train you for. If you could do it, like a Navy SEAL, right? If you could do it in that harsh environment, you can go anywhere. So that's why they do it, and you do have to push yourself to those limits, but not to the point where, like, you're letting your muscles and ligaments and everything get injured from all of, too much. Like, so you get to know that as a professional, and do what you have to. But yeah, you definitely train that way. So everybody have a fantastic day. Love you.
Love you
Thank
too,
you,
Miss
Faith.
Peg.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming and contributing to the conversation so far. And we do have the GOAT Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in our top five, so don't you worry. But there are other dynamic players that rival that spot too and are in the conversation. So yes, thank you, thank you,
All
thank you.
right, man. Well, Cuzzo, go ahead. Intricate one. Let's get it.
Intricate.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, Al, just came in here to support. Fred, what up? Oh, AJ, what's up? How you guys doing today? Sitting there chilling, watching my daughter play soccer. I want to jump in finally. My account was suspended, so I'm free from prison now. I heard you guys. I just jumped on last minute, so I only heard a little bit, but I heard a little bit about Joker. And it's unfortunately, the NBA, the direction that they're going, they're trying to push this international agenda. I mean, I guess it's a good thing, because they want to turn it global. But it's obvious when the NBA do obvious things as a product, I feel like it's a hidden agenda, and I feel like it's kind of misleading a little bit. But if Joker gets the MVP again, you know, his game is very interesting. Like, he's very skillful. Um, but far as being like a top 10 center of all time and all that other stuff that he's doing, like, don't get it twisted. Like, his stats and stuff that he's doing is amazing, spectacular. But it also has to do with the style of play that's going on with the NBA. Um, if you really pay attention to kind of detail of NBA, right now everything is stretched out. When I say stretched out, meaning is the floor is stretched out. So since the floor is stretched out, you have Joker have more space to be able to do whatever he needs to do because there's no center in the game that can bring the offense in the paint. Back in the day, when you guys had mentioned Kareem, Shaq, a lot of the way the style of play was more inside and then out because the center was the focal point of the offense. Now that everything has switched over because of Curry, how he changed the game, it's a complete opposite. They work outward versus instead of in. So the fact that Joker has more space, he has more leg room to have more assists, uh, more rebounds. So it's almost like stat pattern kind of sort of. So I'm not going to disregard, his stats and stuff because at the end of the day, it still takes skill to do that. But I believe if the NBA was the way it used to be, with center, heavy center NBA, I don't think anybody would pay attention to Joker. And Creative had said something also interesting too. If you go back into the bubble, whenever Joker played against people his height, he disappeared and he's frustrated. And the crazy thing is, if you really watch him play, he's out of shape. But because he's the focal point of the offense, he's able to take breaks. Um, but it's crazy because there's one player that nobody really talks about since the NBA is, overshadowed with the whole entire international aspect of the NBA. Alexander for OKC, his stats are through the roof. Uh, they've been in last place for years. They drafted him the normal traditional way. They built around him, and they became the number one seed. And they're one of the top teams in the NBA. And it's kind of crazy because it's like, what else do some of these players got to do to get these MVP trophies? And same thing with Tatum. Tatum, who plays for Boston, he's been in the finals deep for multiple years, great stats and everything else like that, and he still get overshadowed, and they still push either Joker or the Greek Freak. But I just wanted to put in my little 2 cents in and just support you guys in you guys' space.
No, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. You brought up some good points. SGA, like I said, if SGA don't win the damn MVP this year, that's crazy. That's gonna be like when Shaq got robbed and Steve Nash won the MVP that year because Shaq was killing But what happens is with Shaq, the reason they said that he didn't get it because they were just so used to him being so dominant that it looked like okay, this is what he does all the time. So what are we supposed to do? Give him the MVP all the time? So
Yeah, if he earned it, right?
well,
It's
that's what you would
crazy.
think. That's what you would
It's
think.
crazy to me.
But but if you think about it, if I put another MVP in Jokic's hands, then that's another piece of the argument that he's one
Yeah,
of the greatest of all time. But
yeah,
SGA, if you look SGA, OKC hasn't been good since Kevin Durant and those boys, Russell Westbrook and James Harden. So now you got SGA, who's a young player, who's leading the league in 30-point games. His team is number one in the West, which the West is the hardest division this year, the hardest conference this year. And on top of that, they're a young team, an inexperienced team that shouldn't be number one. So the fact that he guided them and led them to be number one, all those factors is the reason why he should win MVP. And if he don't, man, I promise you, I'm gonna be like, look, NBA, man, y'all gotta do better, man. Y'all gotta at least hide it a little bit better that you're just trying to push certain narratives, man. Because I don't even understand why Luka's in the final of this conversation. What has Luka done this year that made you look at him and be like, oh damn, he MVP caliber? But they did put in that you have to play 65 games or more in the season. And I really think that's also another way for them to control who wins and who doesn't, because there's NBA players like Joel Embiid who've been killing. And he killing right now with Bell's palsy. He playing with Bell's palsy right now, killing people, getting 50 points in the game with Bell's palsy, where if people don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's where some of your face or whatever is paralyzed. So if you watch him play the last 3 or 4 games, the left side of his face, he can't even blink his left eye, and been killing people. So that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I just wanted to push back a little and say, like, I think Shea deserves it just as much as Jokic this year. I think Tatum deserves it just as much as Jokic this year. But you got to look at what have they done for their team, and then look at, in my opinion, past the brass tax statistics and go and include advanced statistics on top of that. And that's why Luka doesn't really deserve it, because his team hasn't found all the success, but he's got all the advanced statistics. That's why it doesn't seem like Jokic doesn't deserve it, because his team's not the number one in the West this year, because they focused on health for the last month and a half of the season instead of playing every game, right? Like, we should look at the MVP race based on what did the team need, because we're asking who was the most valuable player for their individual team.
So I'll say this, and I'll push back a little bit on that too. But I respect your viewpoint, man, I completely understand your stance now because you like the advanced stats and stuff.
But I
So
like it mixed with everything too. You know what I mean? I'm not just an advanced stats like
right,
gamer.
right. But that's a part. You incorporate advanced stats into your viewpoint.
Exactly, into my equation.
Right,
Advanced
right,
stats
right,
is in
right.
my personal equation.
And
Yeah.
I respect that. I respect that. So for everybody in this room, hey, look, whether I agree or disagree with you at times, I'm always gonna respect your opinion. So don't ever take it as like I'm trying to argue with people, because I'm not. But I like to look at things like from a
Yeah,
certain
and I just wanted to
point.
give my opinion and push back so
Yeah,
you
and I
can give your
appreciate
opinion and push back again, because that's only how
yeah,
we create a community, right?
facts, and I love it. I love it.
I
So
appreciate how you writing for him, though. I really do.
yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. So I look at it this way, and I think this is why the NBA. Okay, so from a holistic, highest level view of the NBA as a product, which it has been really, really going down, right? Because I really look at it. Once LeBron retires, once Kevin Durant retires, once retires, and those players retire, there's really the superstars where that really took the game serious. There's going to be very, very few and far in between, right? I remember watching the games in the 80s and 90s, and everybody had 2, 3 dogs on their team, and everybody was getting after it, and everybody was beating each other up and man knocking each other on the ground and stuff, man. Like no blood, no foul, all kind of basketball, right? And I get it. You got to get away from that because we see what's happening in the NFL with CTE and stuff like that, and those certain things. And I know NBA players that where their fingers are all jacked up and stuff like that and stuff. So there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. So I understand why you had to remove some of the physicality of the game, but a lot of these, and then you got the one and done players who are coming in underdeveloped. They just go to college, they play that 1 year, they're all about just getting their stat. They don't know how to play team basketball. They don't know how to, you know, take care of their body. They don't know how to work out and rest and recover. They don't know how to do these things. So if you look at a lot of the first round draft picks, a lot of them sit out the first year. starting with Joel Embiid, he sat out. Blake Griffin sat out. Then you had Chet Holmgren, he sat out because they get injured because they are underdeveloped. Their body is not used to it because you're going from playing maybe 30 games in a season to now you're playing 82 games in a season. So and you're playing 4 games in 5 nights some week. So from that perspective, a lot of the product itself has went down. So when we look at analytics and stuff like that, they draft solely based on analytics for the most part. Nobody does the Jerry West eye test anymore and then if you look at Jerry West's track record, he picked Kobe, he picked Blotty, he picked all these people, he picked Pau Gasol, he picked Marc Gasol, and with the eye test of watching these people that play the sport at a certain level can look at somebody's stats and then be like, but that person ain't gonna be who that person is stat wise in college. They're not gonna do that in the NBA. They're gonna flutter out. They're gonna be a 3-and-D person. You can kind of see it, even though they got nice stats. There's a lot of players that came in that had really, really nice stats, and they're role players. They're not stars. They're not this. Then you got people like Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was averaging maybe like 4 or 5 points his first year in college at Marquette. By his senior year, he averaging 20. Jimmy Butler coming to the league, he fully developed because he played 4 years in college. And now look at he's Jimmy Buckets during the season, and he play off Jimmy and all this other stuff. So from a we can look at analytics, we can look at data and stuff like that on certain things. When it comes to sports, I think the main driver is the eye test. As far as that's concerned, I would for me, Jokic, he's a good player. I'm not gonna say he's trash or nothing like that because he's not. That'd be the biggest lie I could tell to this audience, right? He handles his business. I like Jokic as a player. I think a lot of the knocks that I have on him is mainly because the NBA is trying to push him. You're trying to push him one because Jokic as a brand is not really marketable. How he plays, it's not finesse, it's not fancy, it's not cute to the eyes, right? It's not sweet. He gets in there, he does a little thing, he got a little touch, whatever. He can't jump over a paperclip. You know what I mean? He can't run. He can't he can't run. At all. He can't do these things. He's not super athletic, but he's super skilled. So, in order for me to make Jokic marketable too, and to push this international ideology for the game to spread more international than what it is, I have to say, okay, look, how can we do this? He gets a couple MVPs, right? And yeah, he might be in the top 3 or 5 MVP front runners, right? But there was a year I think Joel Embiid should have got it over him, and Joel should have multiple MVPs. But that's just my opinion because how they played that year, Joel Embiid kicked his ass. So, but they gave it to Jokic. Okay, cool. So now we give him this narrative that he has a couple MVPs. Now he got a championship. Okay, cool. Now I'm starting to build the fan base and starting to build the market and make Denver a more mainstream market now. So now that's improving the NBA money wise because Denver's never been looked at as a big market. So now that's a big market. It got an international player. We push these international players because predominantly most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's a minority that wins, the MVP and stuff like that because there's way more minorities in the league than white international players. Cool. So it's been since Larry Bird? Larry Bird was the last probably white face of the league. I mean, you had other great white players, but Larry Bird was actually one of him and Magic shared that spotlight, and to where they lifted up the NBA as far as money as a business, things of that nature. So um, for me, I just want if the NBA is going to push certain narratives, not just Jokic, I'm just using him as an example, but they push other narratives as well. They can't be so blatant with it. You got to at least hide it from like wrestling. I used to love watch wrestling, but wrestling has you could see it coming. You could predict what's going to happen now in wrestling too. And I knew it was fake all this time, but at least I could at least fake my mind out back in the day and think it was real. Now I know it's fake. It's like a soap opera now. So um, we just
No,
have
you're
to,
not lying. It's so crazy now. It's so crazy
it's
now.
just, it's just different, man. So I really think and I'm gonna land my plane here because I've never said that. So I just wanted to say that one time in space, man.
I think, well, I mean, bring up to your point. That's the point. I mean, the fact that they have to do that, that just shows you the future of what the NBA is going to be.
Right.
You know,
So
whenever you're doing desperate measures like that, you're trying to find a savior. You
right.
know, you're just trying to make something up as you go. That just shows you once when LeBron and Curry and Durant leave, what is the NBA going to look like?
Right. So that's my point. Is like I believe in 5 years I probably won't watch the NBA no more.
Oh yeah, I
Just
already
because
know.
it's
Yeah.
gotten away from the game that I love and how the game was actually played and things like that. There's just a lot of things that I just don't like about the direction of the NBA. And I will land it there.
Well, nothing great lasts forever, right? They got to ruin everything. I didn't foresee the conversation going this way, and I should have known better. I didn't foresee it going this way, but I definitely should have known better. I thought we were going to go through top five and then honorable mentions, but yes, we do absolutely have to get into that narrative when we're talking about basketball. How did I think we were going to sidestep that? No, I don't know why I thought we were going
No,
to
no.
sidestep
Hey,
that,
we
but
got one more. We got one more. Hey,
no,
so here
we
was the
did
last.
five. What are you talking?
We did five. Okay, so we had.
Now we're doing honorable mentions.
Okay, so we had Bill, we had Kareem, we
Mm-hmm.
had MJ,
Yep.
Kobe, and we had Wilt.
Yep. So that's five.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
Bill,
So
MJ, Will, Kareem,
honorable mentions.
Kobe.
Honorable mentions. Let's go.
All right. So Isaiah Thomas. Oh my gosh, yo, we can go through honorable mentions for a long time. And then you even said KD. He's definitely an honorable mention. Um, Barkley in his prime, with the strength and the speed, his athleticism was really good. You know what? I'm gonna tell y'all who my team was because I just said Barkley. It was the Suns, the Phoenix Suns. When Barkley and Kevin Johnson, all that, we had a few good players run through there. I used to love Raja, and then we had Marion and freaking whatchamacallit even came over there. Nash came over there for a minute. He was, you know, battling his old teammate Dirk. So yeah, my one first star honorable mention would be Isaiah Thomas. He dominated in the late 80s, back-to-back championships. I'm always gonna go backwards only because that's where I was watching more of the older games because I really haven't watched basketball in years. He would have had three straight. What did Isaiah do? He set the record for scoring 25 points in a single quarter. And he set that record on a swollen ankle, I believe it was. And I believe he scored 16 points. I got it backwards, like 16 points in like 19 seconds. That's crazy, right? So my honorable mention would be Isaiah Thomas. What's yours?
So man, I gotta go with Shaq. Shaq Diesel. Like you can't. The most dominant player in the game, period, hands down. I ain't gonna lie to you. Will Chamberlain would have got smashed on. Like this dude, this dude Shaq was the most. Nobody's ever seen somebody as strong as him. Players talk about how they try to foul him and they almost broke their arm because he was just such a solid player. Even if you look at his Orlando days, the dude was pushing it up like a point guard. Like he'd get the rebound, push the ball up. But Shaq is the only player that I can think of in the history of basketball that where the NBA had to actually change the equipment, the goals, and how they were built because he would dunk on them and break them, and then they would try to figure out where they're going to get another rim from. So they had to reinforce the rim, they had to reconstruct the rim, they had to make brand new rims that could withstand this man's power and how much force and strength he put into when he played. So Shaq for sure. Shaq was 300 plus, could move like a locomotive. You know, even when he got bigger in his Laker days and Miami days and stuff, Shaq was dominant. So I definitely have to go with Shaq Diesel for winning. He got 4 championships. He got um, he got an MVP. He has all types of like stats and numbers as far as like scoring and stuff like that. So Shaq Diesel for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And they used to call him the big Aristotle. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. yeah, Shaq was a big boy and he could move with with all his bigness. Yes, 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 yes. Three times final three times final MVP it was and MVP. So yeah, no, he's yeah. Shaq was a beast. Shaq was a beast. Shaq was a beast. Absolutely.
I would I would go with Shaq, but Shaq would be mine. But if I had to come up with another one, I would say Steph Curry. Just the fact on his impact on the game, changed it, evolved it. He's turned it into a whole entire movement. Now we're shooting threes is the coolest thing to ever do now, and he does it so flawless. He makes it look so easy. And then also, he got 4 championships, I believe. I think he got 4. Um, he's going to break every shooting record there is for the time being. And then also, he can't be stopped because how far he can shoot out. So if I had to pick somebody outside of Shaq, I would probably pick Steph.
Yeah, now Steph is a good one. I just hate that he showed that he makes everybody believe that they can shoot the damn three once they cross half court. That's another reason why I'm gonna start watching the NBA because all the damn kids think they Steph Curry. They want to this dude. They don't know how much work this man puts in to shooting the basketball. Like he don't just wake up, get out of bed, and oh man, today I'm gonna shoot from half court today. I'm gonna hit 5 half court shots today. No, this man shoots relentlessly, and has a top notch handle. But if you watch him, so we don't want since you like Steve Nash and stuff, OAJ, Steve
No,
Nash.
no. I'm a curse. I was not mad at his gameplay. But I'm not a fan of Nash like I am of Curry. No, no, no. But I
Right.
just
So
thought
watch
the
me tie
way
this together. Watch me tie this together. So
you're
Nash,
annoying
so Nash played for the Suns, right? Nash played for the Suns.
for a minute,
Then,
yeah.
then after he got done playing with the Lakers, then he went to coach. He went to assistant coach over there for the Warriors, and he's the main reason why Steph Curry has the handle that he does, because Steve Nash taught him everything he knew about handling the basketball. Before that, Steph used to just have a basic handle, could shoot the three, But once Nash got over there, man, turned Steph Curry into a problem. Turned him
Okay.
into a problem. But yeah, he did change the game, so I do like Steph as an honorable mention. I just hate how he changed the game because these kids, man. Oh, Lord. That's why I couldn't coach today. I couldn't. I would
But
lose
that's but
freaking money.
okay. But somebody else's drive and their way that they build themselves up is you can't speak for everybody else just because they think that they can do it. It's not. Don't put that on Steph because nobody else is doing the work. He's doing the work. It's not like he hides that he does the work.
No, no, facts. He does the work. It's just like, hey, man, now you. But he's even the reason why centers shoot threes nowadays. Like he got
Right.
centers out there shooting threes because they want to be like Steph. They want to be like the little man. Back in the day, everybody wanted to be the big man and dunk and all that stuff. Now,
Right. Everybody
now,
wanted to be the star player, right? Everybody wanted to cut. Now it's the threes, right? Before it was, freaking Mamba and then MJ, right? But
right.
everybody wants to be the best, but they don't want to put in the work to be the best. But we can't blame that on people being the best.
Hey, listen, I love the light skinned assassin. I love the light skinned assassin, the
Why
baby
you had
face
to bring light
assassin.
skin into it? Why?
He, because Mike, Mike had the dark, Mike had the dark skinned Ed lovers. You know what I
He
mean? And
definitely
now,
was. He
and
definitely
now
was.
you got the light skins. That's leading the way. But when I look at the, when I look at,
Yeah, why you had to break it down like that? That's,
hey, I'm just saying, I'm just saying he leading the charge. He leading the charge.
let's
So
talk about skill, not his light skinnedness.
hey, he
He's
got
funny.
he got skills to pay the bills for real. Like I love
He
Steph Curry.
definitely does.
I like watching this game because even though he doesn't play the best defense, his offense is his defense. So you got to chase him
Yeah.
around. And
Right.
I think they say he runs about each game. I think as much as he runs, I think that it's like 2 or 3 miles a game he actually runs in actual court on the court on time. So it's equivalent to like 2 or 3 miles of actual
Yeah.
run.
This dude is nuts. You know what? Let me tell. So like MJ, whatever, his jersey got stolen or whatever. So he had to wear 12 for one game, whatever. In the game, in um that game where Isaiah played her in the finals, game 6 and 88. Adrian Dantley, he put up some numbers on that game too, right? But so a fun fact about him is that he was born with one leg shorter than the other, right? So he had to have an orthotic lift in his shoe. That's the only way he could play. And he was a good player, in spite of that. But in game 5 of that series, there was so much commotion. Somebody stole his freaking shoe with his orthotic lift in it. And they freaking put out an APB. They had it in the newspapers. They had it on the radio. It was freaking nuts. They were going crazy because that's the only way he could play. And why did he only have one? I have no clue why he only had one. I guess they didn't think anybody was going to steal it or was going to get lost or damaged or anything like that. So finally, the guy who stole it called up Adrian, told him he had it, and then he sent it. He's put it out to be sent to Adrian that the morning before game 6. But the funny thing is, it got to him late that night, the night before game 6, and he put his return address on the freaking package. Who does that? You think you got a thank you note or something like that? I don't think. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you got a thank you note for that. I just thought that was funny. I heard about that and I was like, let me see what actually happened. And yeah, that was a funny NBA story. But yeah, it's just stupid things that people do. But yeah, who steals something from an NBA player, has all these eyeballs on, all this heat on it, you even got the police involved and stuff like that, and then you put your freaking return address. How funny is that? What do you think, he was gonna get a signed basketball or something like that?
Man, you'd be surprised what these fans be thinking. You'd be surprised.
Stupid.
So is Adrian Danley one of your honorable mentions?
No, I just thought that was a funny story that no,
All right,
no,
go
it's
ahead.
not.
It's all you, OAJ.
Oh, it's on me. I do the last one. Let me see.
Oh, you did Steph, right? You did Steph.
Oh, I think we all had a hand in doing Steph
No,
because
no, no.
Intricate
That's
brought him up.
intricate one. Did Steph. So I'm gonna go.
Intricate brought him up, and I
So
piggybacked
yeah. So
because
I'm.
that's.
So I'll go one. LeBron. You got to put LeBron James. Me personally, I would probably put him in the top 5. But
I knew you were going to say that. I expected. You know what? Honestly, creative. I am shocked that he wasn't in your top 5.
because he's anti-LeBron. See, it
look,
goes.
okay.
See,
So
see this. See, me and Creative been knowing each other for 30 something plus years. So
Oh
he,
boy.
he got a hidden agenda. See, the only reason why he finally giving in to LBJ because Lakers is his team. Which, if you guys don't know, the Lakers is his team since birth. So he always hated on LBJ forever. And then as soon as he switched over to Lakers, he hated the first year. But then after he realized that LeBron was so dominant, he had to give in. And when he won the championship, he really had to shut up. So ever since then,
Oh boy.
he has like a love and hate relationship. So he goes in and out of the all times and top 5 and greatest and all this. But it kills him. Like he starts squirming, he started itching and damn near about to boo
no,
boo on
don't, don't,
himself
don't,
whenever he
don't,
bring LeBron
don't, don't,
James up.
don't
He
listen
can't
to
do
this
it
man.
Oh
because
my
I'm the number one
goodness.
LeBron dude.
Hey, this is pure madness. So okay. So look, let me just say this. Let me break down my relationships with
LeBron is number one.
let me break
Oh,
down
let's not do that. Let's not do that.
let me break down my relationship with LeBron James. Right. So when it comes to LeBron James, I would tell anybody in a heartbeat, I'm not a LeBron James fan. Right. I support LeBron James, yes, because he's on the Lakers. The reason I don't like there's certain things about LeBron that I don't like, which I feel like Kobe and MJ, at least when they walked away from the game, they gave you everything they had, right? Like LeBron, for me, I think it it killed me because I didn't see him working on his game every year. Like he didn't come the next year with like something, he added to his game. And like Kobe, you could see every year he added something or he came up with something. And I felt like LeBron will walk away from the game and still had so much he could have accomplished. Like he didn't exhaust all of his God given talent, right?
Okay, let me interrupt you real quick. Why do you think that is? Why do you think he's not?
Oh, I don't know. I can't read his brain. I just think, okay, for example, right, you're 6'9", and it took you, what, 7, 8 years to get a post-up game? Like, it took him a minute to get a post-up game, and you're 6'9", right? Um, it took him a while. It took him damn near to the end of his career to get a decent jump shot. You know what I mean? Like, before he would just depend on his athletic ability and just run you.
All right, creative, that's enough.
Hey,
No,
hey,
you
wait,
know what?
hold on.
You was out of line. You was so out of line. Like, let's just be honest. You like Kobe Bryant because he a killer. You like that killer mindset. Ball, ball, ball. Move out the way. Isolate. Shoot, shoot, shoot. And LeBron don't play like that. Like,
I don't
bruh,
mind that LeBron don't play
what else
like
he got
that.
to do? He's 40,000 all time scoring. Like, what do you
Can I
mean?
finish? Can I finish though? You just gonna rudely interrupt me
Well,
after
you
40
know,
years of love and friendship?
unfortunately, I could do
Wait,
that. Unfortunately,
wait,
I
wait,
could do
wait.
that.
You can do that, but that doesn't mean you have to do that. Goddamn, come on now. Like, yo, let's have some space, decorum here. So no, okay. So let's just talk about intricate one for a second. Hey, LeBron James is the closest thing to Jesus Christ in his mind. So just let's let that sit there, right? So if he could divorce his wife right now, he would go marry LeBron James. And I could tell the games that LeBron plays bad is because he didn't get to see his midnight lover intricate one the night before. Okay, so we just gonna put it there. Hey, there's nothing. He loved LeBron James. You can't say nothing bad about LeBron James. Like breathing air and talking LeBron James is like one and the same. You know what I mean? It's like automatic. Like he do it without even thinking. It's on autopilot, right?
Even with
I
all the crying and whining in the game. So
listen. I like so. There's a lot of great things that LeBron has done. Yes, he has 40,000 points. You know, yes, he had. Yeah, he's the first player to do that. The one thing that LeBron has proved me wrong on is that I didn't expect him to play over 20 years. So he did that. I mean, I didn't expect him to play 20 years, 18 years. I thought he was going to quit early, but he's doing that. Mad respect for that. LeBron James coming to the Lakers is like reminds me when Karl Malone came to the Lakers. Like I didn't like Karl Malone. I wasn't a Karl Malone fan, but yeah, when he come to put on that purple and gold, I'm gonna support it for him. I'm gonna support you if you wear that purple and gold. I don't care how much you get on my nerve as a player. If you wear that purple and gold, I'm gonna support you. That's just what it is, right? So, but I just feel like LeBron James is gonna get all the stats. He can have all the numbers, all that stuff. He came in at the right time. He was a physical specimen. When kind of like when Wilt came in back in the day when he was playing. He was 7'2", but he was playing against people that were like 6'9", that were centers like Bill Russell. Um, so I can't knock on LeBron James' greatness. I just feel that there was things that he could have done earlier in his career to show that he really like, hey, look, I add this to my game, I add that to my game. I'm taking it serious. I don't care if he's a pass first player. Like I don't really care about that. As long as you make the right basketball play, I don't really trip like on that kind of stuff. Yes, I like Kobe because yes, he has more of a killer mindset. But I don't compare them because they play two different styles of basketball. To me, LeBron is more comparable to Magic than he is to Mike, and Kobe's more comparable to Mike than he is to Magic. So their styles are completely different in my eyes, right? Um, they're both great players, and like I said, at the end of the day, LeBron's going to go down and have probably all the numbers. I put up some of his numbers in the damn jumbotron. Look at his playoff numbers. He's number one in all these different categories, right? So, but um, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm a Kobe person, of course. Do I think Kobe would kick LeBron's ass in 1-on-1? Of course, I think that because LeBron is not, he's not that. He's a cerebral player from a holistic standpoint of the game. So he's not that assassin like 1-on-1 kind of player. That's just not how he plays the game. So anyway, enough about my Lakers that are hurting my heart right now. Not because LeBron James ain't playing good, not because Anthony Davis ain't playing good, but it's like Gladys Knight singing her heart out, and the Pips just come on, singing off key. You know what I mean? It's just it's the others that are really letting us down. So, but who's your next honorable mention, OJ? Before Intricate gets another second to get on his mic.
I heard when he on mic before that somebody sounded like somebody scored a goal, a field goal or something in the background. So that was kind of dope with that what do you call that? A pattern interrupt. Oh, y'all are funny. I could listen to you and him go back and forth about LeBron. I didn't write anything about LeBron. Honestly, I didn't. There's something about LeBron I just don't like. And I can't put my finger on it, but it was funny that I didn't hear him in your top five because I swore he was going to be in your top five. But getting some background on it now, from Intricate, I see why he's not in your top five. But you opened my eyes to a different perspective last Saturday. That's why I was like, why is LeBron not in his top five? But I wasn't going to be mad because the people that were in your top five deserve to be there.
So so like okay. So let me just this whole GOAT debate. Let me just talk about that real quick. The whole GOAT thing. I don't believe in one single person being a GOAT over a team sport. No team sport. That's just my thought process, right? I look at GOATs at per position. So LeBron James will be in my top five per position. I don't believe in Michael Jordan's the GOAT, LeBron's the GOAT, Kobe's the GOAT of the sport. So to me, LeBron James, hands down, is the greatest small forward to ever touch a basketball. Right? The hell with Larry Bird, the hell with Larry Johnson, all these other players is LeBron James. Now you get into a tight debate when you talk about Michael Jordan and Kobe. You can make a debate for both of those being the GOAT of the shooting guard position. Magic Johnson to me will always be the GOAT at the point guard position. The center position, I would say Kareem. In the power forward position, I would say Tim Duncan. But that's just me. So I don't really get into you could get into the barbershop talk when they talk about like who's the GOAT over the whole sport, but to me, if you haven't played all five positions, like if a player came in the league and they played all five positions on a consistent basis, then maybe you could say that person is the GOAT of the sport. But until they do that, I don't
Who
really
got
see,
the closest in your opinion
in my opinion, to being the GOAT.
to being the GOAT, playing all five positions? Are we gonna go back to when they weren't counting?
Nah,
That's the question.
I don't really think there's ever been a player to consistent like to really play those positions like that. So I don't think nobody's become close to becoming the GOAT in my mind over the sport. And that's why it kills me. Like even in football, when they talk about Tom Brady, I'm like, come on, man. Like
Mm,
he's never
right.
played defense. He's never played, running back. He never played wide receiver. So let's just stop. Now, if you look at tennis, Serena Williams is the GOAT, right? Because that's a single person. As a singles player, she's the GOAT. Now, as
Right.
a doubles, you can't really say that because it's doubles, right? So you could say maybe her and her sister. But, I mean, as a GOAT over the whole sport, maybe Serena Williams is probably the only GOAT that comes to mind because it's a single person sport.
I got it. I'm not mad at that
Are you
breakdown.
you over there flipping through notes, huh?
I had to. There
Look
were
at
too many
hey, she got
people.
them Stephen A. notes. Look at
There were
that.
too many people. I was
Hey,
just like, yo.
listen, I would like to welcome everybody to First Take on. This is the First Take Connect and Chill Space. First Take Connect and Chill Space. OAJ is your Stephen A. Smith. I will be your Shannon Sharp.
I had to. There,
I hear
there,
pages flipping. I'm like, what is
because
this
there were
today?
just too many people. And you know what's crazy is my notes are not in any order at all. So that's why I'm like, damn it.
It sounds like you got a notepad. I mean, it's page after page after page after page.
No, it's only like three. It's
Oh, I
only
ain't
like
mad at you though. I appreciate it though.
it's only like three.
Yo, that was hilarious.
That's just what I do. I do that with everything though. Everything I do, there's always notes. No matter how well I know it, even if I know it really super well, I still have notes because because well, me anyway. For me, it's just like when you're talking in a space and you're talking about a specific subject and you're really into it, and then somebody comes off mic and they interrupt you. It's like, ah, fuck. Now you have to go off in another area, but then how do you get back to where you were, what you were talking about? I have issues doing that a lot of times. So that's why I'm like, I need notes so I can circle back and find out where I was. So I do that. I do that. I do that with everything. Every space I'm on, Shorty, OAJ Shorty has notes. Best believe I have notes. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have notes. I'm on interviews, I have notes. On my like when I'm going to interviews in person, here, anywhere. Like I was on a freaking Zoom interview the other day. I had notes. I printed out my resume and I had notes on it because I was asking the lady questions, whatever. I had notes. I have notes on everything. It's just how I do it. It helps me. So anyway, the next honorable mention, Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon. Why Hakeem? Why? Um, Hakeem Hakeem did a lot of stuff, and he was. Let me see. I feel like he was the only player. I think he was the only player to win back-to-back championships without a single all-star player on his team, right? I think that's right. I mean,
I would have
he
to
had
look into
Samson.
that.
He had Samson for a bit, but then I think Samson he had like back problems, right? So he went
Oh
out.
no. So you know what? Nope, that's not true. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he had Clyde Drexler.
When? Hold up. Drexler. I didn't
I
even
wasn't
put
thinking All
Drexler
Star for the season. I wonder if it was just All Star for them 2 seasons.
for yeah, for those two.
That
Well,
might be
yeah.
true. Let me see when Clyde Drexler was an
No,
All Star.
I don't think he had Drexler. I don't think he had
Yeah,
a single
I
all-star
think
team
he was old at that
yeah.
time.
Clyde was on a
for those two
decline.
back-to-backs.
Yeah, Clyde was on the decline.
You might be right. I had you might
I
be
don't think
right.
that he did. I mean, he did have Samson, but
Let me bow
and
down to the
Samson went out.
notepad. Let me bow down to the
Yeah, I
notepad.
had to. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. You're funny. Okay, and he's the only well, no, he has, let me see. He has a quadruple double on his resume. Um, yeah. So he's another honorable mention. Who's your honorable?
I like Kareem. I'm gonna touch on Kareem real quick. I like Kareem
He's
because
not honorable mention. He was one of the top five.
I mean not Kareem, Hakeem Elijah one. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay.
Man, don't beat me up. Don't beat me up.
I'm
You
like,
know,
what?
Peg took over my mic for a second. You know,
He sure did.
but nah, Hakeem Olajuwon. I like Hakeem Olajuwon. What a lot of people don't know about him, that's one of the things that kind of stood out about him is that even though he was a center, he spent a lot of time practicing with the guards and point guards and stuff. Um, he was originally a soccer player before he started playing basketball, so that's why his footwork was so impeccable. And then once he started practicing with the point guards, that's how he came up with the dream shake and things of that nature, um, which he still teaches players to this day. That's why a lot of players still you're a lot of times you're a goat when great players come to you and ask you for advice, right? So, for example, um, you had Kobe Bryant was one of the first players to work out with Olajuwon and have him teach him some of the footwork. Then, years after that, then you had LeBron go down there. Now, most recently, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo go down there and work with Olajuwon. So, in Olajuwon, even though he didn't really have like the mass as far as his size, as far as his width, but he used every ounce and every move he had in his bag to be very very highly productive, highly skilled, can shoot the 15-footer, and do a lot of things. So here's a question for you. So outside of the Rockets, who did Hakeem Olajuwon play for? OAJ's in her notes. OAJ must be in them notes. OAJ, go ahead.
No, I'm seeing my people in here. So you said outside of the Rockets, who did
Yeah,
Olajuwon play in? I
who
don't
did
even
he play
have that
for?
in here, but I didn't write that down. So he played for all right, let me see. He played for the Rockets and the Houston Rockets and the Raptors.
Yep.
The Raptors, right?
Yep, he played with the Raptors.
Okay. Yeah, the guy's outside freaking doing my lawn, so I was at the window. Can I multitask here? Yeah, the guy's out there. But anyway, yeah, so he played for the Raptors and the Rockets. Yeah. Okay, so who's your? You know what? You know who I'm gonna say, and that I didn't even. Okay, but he does have MVPs and he was All Star. But I have to mention him only because my uncle, he was such a huge fan. He was a huge Knicks fan. I did not like him in the paint. I just thought he was like too big and frumpy, but maybe that was at the end of his career. I don't know. I really didn't pay him too much mind, kind of the way I don't pay LeBron mind. But he was my uncle's favorite basketball player. It was Knicks everything, and it was Patrick Ewing. Now Patrick Ewing has a nice record. He was a big dude. He was freaking 7 feet. He was 7 feet tall. But I mean, he had a good record, but I don't know. He's just so frumpy when he played to me. I just didn't see his athleticism, so it turned me off. And I don't know. And he wasn't super attractive. I'm so visual. It's not even funny. So I think that was another thing. But I mean, he has a good record. He what's his He has a He has three all defense, and you know, I guess he did his thing at the power forward position. But yeah, I just had to mention him just because my uncle, he always had to be
And
doing everything. He had his jerseys, everything.
did you just call Patrick Ewing a power forward?
Wasn't he? Is that
Oh
what it was?
Lord, have
Or
mercy,
center? He
Jesus.
was in center, whatever.
Oh
He did play
Lord,
power forward. No, he did.
come on, we need to update your notes. Um,
Okay, well, I think he did.
all right, so
He was a center. He was a center.
hey, so I'm gonna go with this person. I'm gonna go with Allen Iverson.
Oh, Alan I.
I'm gonna go with AI, man. AI.
He got a whole statue.
Hey, listen, yeah, yeah, and people mad that the statues seemed like it was so small, but all the
That
statues
was
were.
their beef with it. Yes,
Yeah,
it's
but
like
okay, but what most people don't know, all right, so I've been around that arena before in person, right? So where that walk is, all those statues are small because they're all on these pillars that it's like a little walk. It's not like Dr. J statue was actually on the ground and they built it from the ground up, right? But these statues of the other Philadelphia 76ers are all small. Charles Barkley's and stuff. All of those are small because if you if you guys ever pull up pictures of where they're at, they're on these little pillars like they kind of align the walkway. So you don't have much room to put a big huge ass statue on this thing. It's all
oh, okay.
small pillars. Yeah. So the pillars are like it kind of like these pillars kind of look like 2x4s that come up maybe like 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and they put these players on one of these to commemorate them. So
No, that's dope. I didn't know that. But yeah, I did hear. Because I don't watch TV or anything like that. I don't watch the news or anything like that. But it was all over social media, and yeah, they did. But people are gonna complain about everything. But now that you give some background, then that's cool though. But yeah,
yeah,
no, Alan I.
yeah. So AI, man. So when it comes to I love him. The dude was a beast. You know, he didn't win no championships or nothing like that, but he did mess up my Lakers' perfect playoff season when he won one game in the finals, which was a huge feat because he was going against Kobe and Shaq, and when the Lakers were really really dominant. So I mean, the Lakers was sweeping everybody that playoffs, and they were winning, by 10 or 15 points a game. So for him to come in and steal a game from the Lakers, that was huge. That was major. Also, the fact that he changed the culture of the game too. So they instituted zone defenses because of AI and Shaquille O'Neal. So they started
Mhm.
allowing before that NBA teams had to defend one on one man defense. Then once AI and Shaq became so dominant, they instituted zone defenses, which wasn't allowed in the NBA until the late '90s, early 2000s. So he changed the game from that aspect. He also changed the culture of the game to where they were wearing jerseys and they were wearing cornrows and doing all this kind of stuff.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
so he was monumental in that. He was an icon in that. And then that's when they started instituting he had to wear suits. And me personally, the fashion, the way the stuff they're wearing nowadays, they need to go back to wearing suits. Because the crap that they wear nowadays to the game is terrible. It's terrible, man. That stuff you couldn't wear that. The stuff that they wear to the games, you couldn't wear that, regularly, like walking down the street or nothing like that. Or like, what business can you go into? What big huge company can you go into? Let's say you wearing these bell bottoms and stuff, walking into the office. Like that stuff is like they wear the crazy fishnet and all this kind of stuff. Like,
Oh
no,
no.
I think me personally, when you going in to conduct business, you suited and booted up. You looking sharp, looking smooth. You look like you professional. Not all this craziness, looking like you working at Spencer's or Hot Topics and stuff like that, man. That junk is crazy.
Oh, he brought up Spencer's. Yeah. Yeah, Spencer's didn't originally start like that, but yeah, it did. Yeah. But we're talking about small players again. Steve Nash was taller than Allen I, but Allen I with his speed and he was just yeah. He definitely changed the culture with people with their wearing cornrows and stuff like that. But and he was cute actually. It was definitely easy on the eyeballs. But yeah, Allen I. But he had a little too to him too. Rightfully so, though. Let me see. Prove somebody. I'm seeing if my approvals work because L, that seeing if my approvals work because Twitterverse has an issue with Droid. They favor the um the Apple
Oh
software.
Lord, she got the green bubbles, y'all. Y'all don't underestimate that person. She got the green bubbles. I touched base on the green bubbles the other night. Oh Lord, not the green bubbles.
I do. Now you gonna keep calling me your bestie now, knowing that I'm your arch nemesis as far as that type of
I don't know now
technology.
that you got the green bubbles now, man.
I
But
will
you do have the
proudly.
blue check though. You do have the blue check on your account, so it might be
Sure
all
do.
right. That go towards
On
my
my
verified followers. That's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, so we have let's get on that because we have a speaker that popped up. Keandre, what's up? What do you have to contribute to the conversation? My question to everybody was who is your top five greatest of all time NBA players?
Oh, okay. Interesting question there. So all time, man. Okay. I this is in no particular order, but I like John Stockton. I like Jason Williams because he reinvented the passing game. He made passing a fun thing back in the early 2000s. Steve Francis. I like Steve Francis too. And let's see, two more. Of course, I've always been a fan of AI. Like they just recently, his dribble style was so effective to the point where they actually outlawed his dribble style. I was like, wow, that's crazy. If your handlers is that crazy, and then like it's going more recently, I would say I like that dude Luca too. I like the way he played the game. It's smooth and he looked like they be having fun out there. You could tell the people that are out there having fun. I mean, it's a job, of course, but you could tell who likes it and who don't. What I'm saying, according to how they play the game. But that's my main.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that little five you done put together. John Stockton. I haven't heard his name mentioned in a while.
I was gonna
John
say that
Stockton.
too. He wasn't
Hey,
even on my honorable mentions. What was wrong with
listen,
me?
listen. John Stockton is probably the only person on the Dream Team that can walk through anywhere in Europe wearing a Dream Team uniform and nobody recognizes him. You know what I mean? Which I would say is a great feat because sometimes when you're famous, man, you don't want all them people. Just you want to be a regular person, be able to go to regular places, and people not swarm you. So that's cool. But John Stockton was a bad man. I got to give him his credit. The dude was a bad man, and even though he was a smaller guy, very, very strong. His IQ was very, very high. It's just unfortunate that he played during the Jordan days because Jordan kept a lot of people from getting that championship. So, but John Stockton is one of I want to say he's one of the assist and steal leaders, top 10, I think. Uh,
All time, bro.
okay, well there you go. Awesome. Look, he knows that's what I'm talking about, Keandre.
I was
And it's
gonna
good.
say.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this out there, and I'm gonna give Keandre his flowers because I haven't seen this brother in a while. It's been a minute, and he switched his PFP up on people. So now I thought this was Thuggish Ruggish Bones lost member or something, and it's Keandre, brother. I've been looking for you for a while, man. I ain't seen you around in a minute. Good to see you. Glad you're doing good. Hope everything's blessed.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate it. I mean, I changed the PFP up. I figured people wouldn't recognize me because I was like, damn. When I changed it, I was like, man, where everybody? But nah, man, I'm doing good, man. Life be life, and sometimes, but we all got to get it together at some point. But yeah, man, it's good to be here in this good space and we talk about basketball, man. I mean, I could talk about that all day. You know.
Nah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like I said, when I heard your voice, I knew who it was at that point. But yeah, I didn't know who it was with the new PFP, man. See, when you switch your PFP, please, you got to make a public post announcement so I can know who's who, this, that, and the other, man. So I can make sure because you got to remember you also lose your check for a little bit too. So if not, a lot of times, I recognize people by their PFPs and things of that nature. So I'm an old person. I don't like to read. I like to look at people pictures and stuff, and that's how I recognize people by their faces. But yeah, we could definitely talk basketball today. I really appreciate Miss L opening up this space, man, and giving us the opportunity to talk basketball because she didn't have to open up her Connect and Chill space and just have us talking while she sits back and enjoys the conversation. You know, she's giving up her space, her time to host a space that she normally runs impeccably well, where she has amazing topics. So every Saturday, make sure if you're not following Miss L, if you don't come to her spaces on Saturdays, you are missing out. You're missing out on a treat. There's always some great topics. I will always love coming to her spaces anytime I can. I try to make it a point to schedule my time to come to her spaces because they're so phenomenal. You meet phenomenal people from the Pepe community and all around the world and stuff. Yeah, man. So I highly encourage you guys, if this is your first time, it's not normally ran like this where we just talk sports. We talk about very, very deep conversations. We relax, we chill, we laugh, we have a good time. Please come back next week as well and enjoy a great conversation. All right, baby.
Absolutely, I agree with that. This was actually my suggestion since Creative and I were chopping it up about basketball. I was like, yo, we could do a whole space on this. Let's just do that because we started at the last Connecting Show, which really was a dope space. We got into basketball and it started monopolizing the conversation. So it's like, yo, let's just have a space about basketball. We could talk about this all day. Um, but not the Thuggish Workers Bone, yo.
I
I
thought that was
started
Crazy Bone down there. I was
I
about to
started
say.
singing it in my head. No, you didn't. You're funny. But I love yeah. Yeah, Stockton wasn't on my list. But yeah, John Stockton, how could he not be at least an honorable mention? That was funny. But yeah, he was a tiny little guy too. But not tiny. I'm tiny. I keep saying tiny because on the screen against the rest of the teammates and the opposing team, yes, they look tiny. But they're standing, the smallest person I mentioned stood 6 foot. They're not tiny compared to me, but they're tiny compared to the rest of their teammates. They just look tiny. But yeah, Stockton was dope. His name was a conversation over sports talks at the dinner table and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, where are we going with this? Um, so I had to mention his voice too. I love accents, y'all know that. So I was happy that he popped up here. I was like, yeah, let's hear Keandre. I don't care what he's saying. Let's just hear his voice. So that's just me. But yeah, guys down in the listening lounge, thank you for coming. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for chilling with us. If you have anything to add to the conversation, it doesn't have to be about b-ball. It doesn't really. That's just what the focus was because I figured we needed our own space. Let Creative talk, get it out there. He loves the sport. He still follows it. I don't really follow it that much anymore. I'm doing other things. If I'm mentioning short people, actually somebody under 6 feet, wasn't that Jason Kidd? He was actually.
Jason Kidd was like 6'4".
Was he? No, why does he look so damn
Now, if you went
tiny?
Hey,
Are
like,
you
you go
sure?
with that tiny shit, bro. He stays
I
saying
don't know
tiny.
why he
Like,
looks so tiny on the freaking. He looks so tiny. Why did he look that
you
tiny?
know who? You know who actually was tiny though? Nate Robinson. Cause me and Nate Robinson the same height, 5'6". So Nate Robinson is tiny. The rest of them dudes, they
But
walking
no, why
refrigerator.
did he look so tiny? I don't know why he looked tiny to me. He looked tiny. John looked tiny. Alan I looked tiny, but they weren't. That's so crazy. Just up
Did you
against the
adjust?
team.
Did you adjust your glasses to the frame of reference on the TV?
That could have been it. You're funny.
a hawk?
Yeah,
That's what.
man.
See,
Oh,
you
I
got
thought
it
you
messed
said
That's
up.
it.
hog. I was
That's
Okay.
it.
about to say, it's that accent, Keandre. It's that
It
I
accent.
feel
is.
you. My bad.
Because
My
I was like,
bad.
oh, his accent got me. He said hog. I didn't know he said hog. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny.
Hey, because there's a huge difference in being a ball hawk and
And
a
I'm
And
ball
all
ball
hog.
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 Yeah,
That's
I
me.
know. I know. I know.
There's a
Because
huge
that's what I was
Everybody sounded the
saying.
same. My bad.
That's what I was saying. The huge difference between Kobe and MJ is Kobe utilized the team. MJ was just give me the ball. I got it. So
So well, let's talk about it real quick. So a lot of there are people that don't know sports that they call Kobe a ball hog, and so if you listen, there's an interview that was done on All the Smoke that is Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, their podcast, and they have a guy on there from Cali. His name is Phil Handy. He's currently an assistant coach for the Lakers. So Phil Handy talks about this interview. It talks about his time working with Kobe. So one of his first jobs in the NBA was to be like the assistant coach that kind of built a relationship with Kobe, did things with Kobe, worked out with him and stuff like that. So when he first started working with Kobe, Kobe said, "All right, man, look, meet me tomorrow at 4, right?" So dude wakes up, dude gets up, whatever, does his day, whatever, then heads to the gym around 4 p.m. Doesn't see Kobe. Comes back the next day to practice and was like sitting there. Kobe comes in. Kobe goes, "Hey man, where the hell were you at, man? I was looking for you yesterday, man. You don't, man. If you can't be there, then don't even, you need to quit. Not even had this job, man. You don't even know what you're doing, man." It was getting on the bus. He was like, "Hey man, I was there, but I didn't see you." He said, "Man, I showed up at 4. You said 4 p.m., right?" It's like, "No, 4 o'clock in the morning." He said, 4 o'clock in the morning, man. You supposed to be there. That's the time I start working. I don't know what you're talking about. These other guys, man, they working out at 4 p.m. He's like, "Shoot, I work out at 4 in the morning." He's like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know." And then after a while, they start building a relationship. And then Phil Handy asked Kobe, he's like, "Man, why you such an asshole, man?" And he was like, "See, a lot of people think I'm an asshole because they think I don't trust my teammates and stuff like that. But I get up every day, go to work out at 4 a.m. in the morning. I'm here at practice. I work out 3 or 4 times a day. And I see these dudes coming 10 minutes before practice start. I see them being the first ones to leave the gym. I see them, they don't put in the work and they don't put in the effort that I do. So why during the game, after I put in all this work and effort, when I pass you the ball, when I know you leave early from practice and you show up, 10 minutes before practice start, I have more faith in me shooting over 4 people than passing this to that person. You know what I mean? And so that was the thing. Why should I trust you if I know you don't work as hard as me? Why should I trust you when I sit here and work my body to exhaustion and I sacrifice my family time and all the other stuff and you partying and doing all these other things? Why should I trust you? So
I
a lot of
understand that.
a lot of times your work ethic is the reason why I don't pass you the ball.
And that's exactly why he was an elite ball handler and a decision maker. And that's why they gave him the ball when the time clock was winding down, because he knew how to get it done. He knew who to give it to. He knew. That's just it.
Yeah, and work ethic says a lot about a person's integrity too. Now everybody ain't gonna get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I mean, Kobe just loved the game more than his teammates did, and that's just flat out evidence right there. So I mean, there are people that, like I said, there are people that love the job, and there are people there that are just strictly there for the money, and it shows, and you can see that.
And
Yeah.
he was the same on and off the paint with his work ethic. You know how many businesses how many companies he was invested in and stuff when, he passed? It was like 14, something like that, right? It was like 14.
I had no idea. I
Yeah,
can see
it
it.
was
Though. I can see that though. That's spilling over into his personal life. I mean, that's who he was as a person anyway.
facts. Yeah, he was, who outspoken to, and y'all don't even, let me see who, I think, Kareem Abdul. He writes freaking articles for the Washington Post and stuff like that. He's
Wow, I would have
he's
never
very
had.
vocal.
I would have never put those two together for real. Not in a million years.
Yeah, but they're on things racism and anti-Semitism and things like that. He even he even wrote something on The Bachelor about The Bachelor, the Bachelor contestants about race being a problem there. He's very vocal. He's outspoken. He does not hold his tongue about that. He did write something about fighting racism in the league and stuff like that. So
That's cool. You know what I just discovered recently though, and this is something that that most people may have assumed, but like I know Michael Jordan had two sons now, and they should be of age, and neither one of them made it to the league. I find that ironic because like a lot of people sleep on Scottie Pippen, but his son's in the league. I just figured that out like 2 days ago, and he's nice. Like, did nobody else know this? I just found this out. I was just like, wow, oh okay.
Yeah, now Scottie Pippen's son is in the league. Scottie Pippen Jr. Michael Jordan's sons, I think one, they didn't really have the athletic ability to play in the league. Two is the shadow of Michael Jordan at the time. I mean, Michael Jordan's a walking icon. Scottie Pippen is looked at as a great player, but he's not an icon, right? It's like me being Michael Jackson's son or or being Tito's son. Like, okay, yeah, they're both Jacksons, but there's a lot different pressure that comes with being Michael Jordan's son than being Scottie Pippen's son, right? Um,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
so,
But
but
Layla did it and she didn't care.
who?
Layla.
Who?
Okay, but
Layla.
then Layla, you talking about Muhammad
Yeah, but I
Ali?
mean, it's still all sports. You know, she did it and she didn't care about her father's being shadowed by her father's legacy. And
Well,
so,
okay, but you got to think too though, the gap, the year gap in between when
true.
see,
True.
so Muhammad Ali, he was done with the sport for so long by the time she started boxing. You know,
Yeah.
True, but
Mike,
it's still a legacy, yo. It's
yeah,
still
no,
like
it's still a legacy, but you got to understand a lot of how many people saw, how many people when
true.
Layla started boxing, how many people saw Muhammad Ali box?
True. True that, true
You
that,
know what
true
I
that,
mean?
true that.
So then Marcus Jordan and his other brother, hell, his dad was sponsoring these, giving them shoes and everything. Like he just probably got done with basketball.
Mm,
So
that's a
You know,
blessing,
everybody
man.
has seen Michael Jordan play. So man, you think about your daddy.
real quick. It's still about MJ.
Super
But
fun.
what came up to my mind, what I forgot to say, because we quickly segued to something else, was the fashion. All I could think about when y'all said how people coming up to these daggone games not wearing suits and stuff, all I could picture was MJ in the damn cowboy boots with the with the suit tucked in.
What the hell? Okay.
Yeah, he did that.
That's random as fuck. That's
He
random
did
as hell. That's
do
that's
that, but it popped in my head. I was like, yeah, right, with MJ with the damn.
out of all the files you had, that's the one you chose.
That looked cool. Yes, yes, that's the one because it I think it traumatized me a little bit to see MJ in some damn cowboy boots, but his suit pants tucked in. Yeah.
That's
Anyway, I
funny
had to
as
say
hell
that.
though. That's funny as hell though. But
And
no,
that's how my mind works. My mind is funny. I try to I try to find humor in everything. So that was funny to me. I was like,
that's
no,
good.
MJ
I
did it.
like that. That's
So
good. I
yeah,
like that. That give me
my
good. That give me
apologies.
good ammo to crack some jokes every now and then.
It's fine. Listen, I could give it as well as I could take it. I was crying over here, what you getting at me. Also, so foul blank, huh? Yo, that was funny. I was done. But create my bad. I just had to say that because it came back to my brain.
Oh no, you good, you good. I wanted to throw out one more Kobe story before this thing probably wraps up soon. So Kobe was Gerald Henderson Jr. tells this. No, Gerald Henderson tells his story about Kobe coming to play. He's playing against the Charlotte Bobcats, and he's working out, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Gerald Henderson looks at him and notices that there's one of the arena workers comes over and like talking to Kobe, and Kobe's like pointing at the rim and stuff like that, right? And so then he was missing, because he was missing shots and stuff like that, and it was shocking to see Kobe miss these shots. And so then when they came out with a ladder and they started messing with the rim or whatever, and then Gerald Henderson asked the guy, once Kobe was done working out or whatever, he asked the guy, "Hey, what did Kobe say to you?" He said he was telling us that the rim was a quarter of an inch off, and
Oh,
that the height was a quarter of an inch off. And he said, "Okay, so when you guys came out and checked it, what was it?" He was like, "A quarter of an inch off."
Damn, so he was a carpenter too? Okay.
No, I mean the
Shit.
fact that you know your shot so well and you shot so many shots that you could
Yeah.
tell when the
You can
height of
tell
the
yes.
if it's
rim is
off.
off.
You can tell if it's off. For real. Yeah. I feel
Crazy.
you.
But one question: do we expect anything less from Black Mamba? That is the question. That's
No,
the whole
no, we
question.
don't. No, we don't.
He was
Is it
He
maniacal.
didn't have
surprising?
to he
Is
didn't
it
have to
surprising?
adjust his glasses or nothing. He was on
You know
point.
what?
I
You're gonna
agree
leave
with
my
that.
glasses alone.
I like your glasses. They make you look sophisticated. Don't be trying to catch what I'm saying. I just thought
What
we
did
was
you
gonna
say
glide
though?
past that.
What did you
We could
say
have just glided
yesterday?
past that.
No, I can't. I can't do that. Whether it's at me or at somebody else, I still want to bring it up. Yo, what did you say? I didn't adjust my my glasses to the width and the frame of the freaking TV or the TV or something. I don't know what you said, but that was hilarious.
That's what I said.
I gotta play that back and clip that. I'm gonna clip that and keep that. That shit was funny. I don't care. Listen. I have such. Some can say I have a warped sense of humor, but listen, I have a sense of humor nonetheless, and everything is funny to me. A lot of things I can find humor in, and listen, laughter is the best medicine. You could be in the worst mood. You could be beefing. Haven't you ever had a time where you were beefing with somebody, or your friends were beefing, or you just saw somebody beefing, and then somebody cracks a joke, and then it's just like, what was we arguing about?
yeah. That
You
yeah.
know what I
That's
mean? So
usually had seven
laughter,
over a hamburger or something. But yeah, you're right. Laughter
See? Like, so laughter is the best medicine, y'all. So if
too.
I can find something funny in anything, and I think go out and appreciate it, because people are like, what the hell are you laughing at? This is a serious situation. And I'm like, well, I found it funny, but that's just how I was. And now I'm just like, yo, I can appreciate that about myself. Like life is not really super serious like that. Find the humor in everything. You live a lot longer. Your body will thank you.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
will. It will.
definitely. Most
I
definitely.
remember when 9/11 happened. I mean, it was a very serious situation, but my friend had said something in the back. Like, this had just happened. I was in the ninth grade, right? This is the first time I ever got suspended on the spot, though. Normally, it's a process, but I got suspended on the spot that day, y'all. And I mean, like, what he said is like, we was talking about farts. I mean, dude, that's what we was talking about before any of that shit broke out. And he had said something that was so hilarious. I just busted out laughing, and coach was like,
Is X rugging or is no one talking?
No,
"What happened?
I can hear him. It's Keandre's talking.
Y'all can hear me?"
I
Oh,
can.
I hear you. I
Oh,
hear you.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they timed L's mic out. Her hearing.
They may have. Oh no.
Oh man. Oh man. Gotta adjust your ears too. Okay.
Go ahead.
But
Go
but
ahead.
no, so
Finish your
but
fart
no, so like,
story.
yeah. So no, so we was talking about that because we teenage boys. So we that's the shit we do. And he had cracked the joke it was just hilarious to me. And at that moment, they was replaying what had just happened, like, right around that time. And the coach was like, "You need to get the hell out of my class." And I'm like, "Damn, bro, like, what's up? What's wrong with you?" Like, of course, I realized after I got kicked out, I was like, "Oh, damn." I wasn't laughing at that though. You know what I'm saying? I was laughing at the joke that was being said at the time. There was nothing funny about what was happening, but in my reality at that time, farce was funny back then. So that's just what it was. But like nowadays, like finding humor in everything is also it could be critical at times because if you can't laugh, then what else is there to do?
Right. Just go dig a grave and jump in it already then. Nah, I
Man,
find humor in a lot of stuff, so that's just what I do. Everybody else can be a crabby apple if you want to. I'm not
a
going
crabby apple.
to. That's a thing, a crab apple. Where I grew up, it was, like in small town Millstone, we still had dirt roads back then, and there was little tiny apples. We never ate them because we were, I don't know, somebody told us
the
not to eat
little
them.
the little green ones.
No, they were red, but they were very tiny and they were hard, and we used to just throw them at each other.
That damn. Wow.
And
Okay,
they're
I bet
called
that
crab
probably hurt.
apples, though. Yeah, of course they hurt.
Yeah, no, we had them in rural Alabama too. They was just green and they was good with some salt. Like,
Oh, see, well, how
they
do you eat
wasn't
an
sweet.
apple with salt? Oh my goodness.
It was a crab apple. Come on now.
Oh, mm-mm. That's like somebody telling me they put sugar in grits. Stop it. You bet not.
Okay,
You
I don't
bet
know
not.
who would do such a thing, but okay.
People do that. They put sugar in grits. I'm like, this is not farina. This is not cream of wheat. It's grits. It's salt and
Like
butter.
regular ass grits, salt, butter, and cheese if you want it.
Or
Like, no,
cheese if you
like
want it.
that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just like putting ketchup on scrambled eggs. I never understand
Oh
that.
my gosh. My sisters and brothers put ketchup on scrambled eggs, and then they would put, now this is weird, I'm telling you. Is they put ketchup in their rice. How you put
What?
ketchup in rice? Yes. Yes, yes,
Who
yes.
thinks about shit like that? What?
I don't know, but they did it. I'm like, y'all nasty. Yes,
Oh
you
man,
do.
yeah, they missing a few brain cells, man. I don't know. Ketchup and
Probably,
rice
probably
like
all them, probably all them crab apples we pegged them with. But
that? Hit them in the head enough time they go to eating any damn thing. Oh, okay.
you gotta remember, we were rougher back in the day. We didn't wear
Yeah,
helmets,
true
riding
that.
bikes. We
True that. True that. The only time we got roughed up is we let the street lights beat us home. That was an ass whooping off the
right.
rip. Imagine having a whole day, having the time of your life, forgetting, losing track of time in the middle of the summer where you get the most daylight and the street light pop on and you ain't on the front porch knocking at the door.
Well, actions have consequences, Keandre.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And then, like back then, we had village and communities. Everybody looked out for everybody else's kids, and you had to go to a farm. I had parents that knew every damn body, so I couldn't be out of pocket at any point in time.
Right, so you should have never been late because everybody up and down the block was reminding you, Keandre, why you not on your porch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nah, but sometimes we be halfway across town riding bikes, heading back to the house. And we get caught by somebody that's driving to the other side of town. They go home and then they'll call my dad and them because my dad and them sometimes they don't be there. And when we realize that, I'm like, shit, we got a little extra little more time. Nope. Every now and then it didn't pan out that way and it hurt. For a little while, the world stopped, everything stopped. And then when it got done, everything started back again. That's what I used to think as a kid. You know, the TV stopped playing, people stopped walking, shit like that.
And then
Getting the
all of
river
a
was the
sudden
end of the
we
world.
were that movie Wally. Okay.
Yeah, just for a
Yeah.
second. And
Yeah,
then
just for
when
a
it was all
second.
said and done, everybody started back moving and stuff. We just sitting there, we the only ones sitting there crying.
See, that's the mark of a dope space. Look, we started talking about basketball, then we went to personal stuff. See, we are connecting and chilling today. Even though it's primarily basketball, we can talk about anything at any time. But
That's true.
this was a great space. Thank you guys so much for coming. And you know what? Creative. I feel like we had the same top five. I think we did.
Uh-oh.
I think we did. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's run it back. We had Kobe. We had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We
Yeah,
had Wilt Chamberlain. We had
yeah,
MJ, and we had Bill Russell.
yep.
Woo woo!
Ah, she went back. She found that file, bro. Pulled it up. There it is.
Oh, Keandre can't come to our spaces no more.
Hell yeah,
Nah,
she right clicked on
you
that one,
make
bro. She
you
right
make
clicked
me
on that one.
laugh. You made me laugh. No, so we did. So that's dope. But I'm gonna throw the mic. Thank you guys. Thank you, Tiona. Hey. Margie for hanging out with us. I think you were with us for quite a minute. And Aspen down there. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for rocking with us. Next time, feel free to grab a mic and come up and talk, ask questions. It doesn't matter. Safe space. You can talk about anything. You could fart on the mic. We'll find it funny, and I'll say, hey, that's not very ladylike or very gentlemanly like, and still laugh about it anyway and tell you you smell through the mic and all that good stuff. But y'all are free to come up and ask anything at any point. This is Connect and Chill, even though it was focused on b-ball. You see, we went to, back in the day stuff, talking about crab apples and all that stuff. That's the mark of a good space host, co-host, and all of you guys, speakers and people in the listening lounge who support us every single time. So that is my wrap up. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your freaking Saturday, whether it is morning, whether it's afternoon, whether it is evening, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy the rest of it, relax, recharge, get your goals set for next week or start them tomorrow, either way. But enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm going to pass the mic to Creative before we give it back to Elle to close up the space.
Hey, yo, everybody! Thank you for coming. The people that popped in, the people that got a mic, the people that spoke, all the people that's going to be listening to this later on, man. Just hearing people, having a good time, enjoying life, regardless of what the topic is. Right? Today we talked about basketball, but we just like to have, like it says, connect and chill. We like to connect, chill, have fun. Man, Saturdays are usually when people get to start their weekend because Fridays most of us work, but so Saturdays is always good to wake up, get positivity, get good vibes, things of that nature. So Miss L, we cannot thank you enough for handing over your space and letting us rock in it. You know what I mean? And you just sitting back and enjoying everything, man. It says a lot about your character for you to be able to allow other people to rock out in your space. Not a lot of people are willing to do that because they're so controlling over their spaces and stuff like that. They're so hands-on, they're so micromanaging that they don't really like to give the steering wheel over to others. So the fact that you give others the opportunity to come into your space, not only speak freely, but also be able to co-host and lead some of the conversation, that just shows how great and kind your spirit is. So we thank you for that. Can't thank you enough. Everybody, once again, please, every Saturday morning, make sure you turn on notifications for Elle, because every Saturday morning she has Connect and Chill. It is it's a phenomenal space for you to just get, like I said, positivity. Fill your cup up with positivity, because throughout the week we get drained. Make sure you support. Make sure you show some love. Follow. Make sure you just follow OAJ. She'll come into your space and be the spark in the room. Make sure you follow Intricate One, Keandre, Margie, Aspen, everybody that's in here. Or hey, everybody's good people. So show some love, build your community, and let's continue to connect and chill. Now I'll pass it over to Elle.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfectly said. As we wrap up another Saturday here together, Connect and Chill, I just want to extend a huge thank you to OAJ and Creative for this very informative discussion that was filled with passion and lots of laughs. It puts a huge smile on my face when I'm listening to people talk about topics that they enjoy. And I know you all probably realize I didn't really have much to say today, but sometimes it's not about talking, it's about listening, right? You got to let someone else hold it down that knows what they're talking about. And they came prepared. You guys heard the notes, right? Because I heard the notepad, it was going. So I really had a lot of fun today just listening and allowing you guys to take over and do your thing. I'm sure all of you learned at least one new thing today. I have my notes. I learned a lot of new things. I got Bill Russell, I got Will Chamberlain, I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Peg, I didn't forget you. I got notes. So I learned lots of new things. I do want to also thank the amazing speakers we had, Intricate, Keandre, Benjamin, Peg. You all added to the conversation. And of course, our listeners, everyone who joins us, whether live or on the replay, your participation makes this space worthwhile. And for those catching the replay on Audacity, I appreciate you giving our stream your time today. I'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts or topics that you might be interested in discussing, because you never know what we might talk about in this space, as you can see today. But you do know it's going to be filled with lively discussion, positivity, laughs, and good vibes. That's what we're all about here. It's been so fun sharing part of my Saturday with you guys. I'm glad you came prepared, did your thing. I loved it. So we'll keep the conversation going, continue to connect, and I hope everyone enjoys the weekend.
Revolutionizing women's media.
Is this only for experienced content creators, or can beginners join too? What are the content guidelines for Audacity Live? What sets Audacity Live apart from other streaming platforms? What kind of support do you offer? Do I need to be present for my show? How often do I have to submit content? How do you accommodate different time zones? English isn't my native language. Can I launch my show in my own language? Can I host a live show? I already have a significant following. How can this benefit me as a content creator? How can I submit my content? What type of content are you looking for?
Revolutionizing women's media. Let's create something amazing together. Now accepting applications from women creators. Create content for women. Multi-stream to a global audience. Revolutionizing women's media. Audacity Live Q&A. Revolutionizing women's media.
Is this only for experienced content creators, or can beginners join too? What are the content guidelines for Audacity Live? What sets Audacity Live apart from other streaming platforms? What kind of support do you offer? Do I need to be present for my show? How often do I have to submit content? How do you accommodate different time zones? English isn't my native language. Can I launch my show in my own language? Can I host a live show? I already have a significant following. How can this benefit me as a content creator? How can I submit my content? What type of content are you looking for?
Revolutionizing women's media. Let's create something amazing together. Now accepting applications from women creators. Create content for women. Multi-stream to a global audience. Revolutionizing women's media. Audacity Live Q&A. Revolutionizing women's media.
Is this only for experienced content creators, or can beginners join too? What are the content guidelines for Audacity Live? What sets Audacity Live apart from other streaming platforms? What kind of support do you offer? Do I need to be present for my show? How often do I have to submit content? How do you accommodate different time zones? English isn't my native language. Can I launch my show in my own language? Can I host a live show? I already have a significant following. How can this benefit me as a content creator? How can I submit my content? What type of content are you looking for?
Revolutionizing women's media. Let's create something amazing together. Now accepting applications from women creators. Create content for women. Multi-stream to a global audience. Revolutionizing women's media. Audacity Live Q&A. Revolutionizing women's media.
Is this only for experienced content creators, or can beginners join too? What are the content guidelines for Audacity Live? What sets Audacity Live apart from other streaming platforms? What kind of support do you offer? 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 What kind Do I need to be present for my show? often do I have to submit content? How do you accommodate different time zones? English isn't my native language. Can I launch my show in my own language? Can I host a live show? I already have a significant following. How can this benefit me as a content creator? How can I submit my content? What type of content are you looking for?
Revolutionizing women's media. Let's create something amazing together. Now accepting applications from women creators. Create content for women. Multi-stream to a global audience. Revolutionizing women's media.